Hi folks, Smudge here. Hey Sassy, come over here.
What was that sound?
Oh, that was just our next guest. He was probably practicing for a show.
He practices booming for a show?
Yeah, he's a pyrotechnician. The Weekend Homestead.
What's a pyro?
A pyro is the individual that lights off all the big fireworks you see at state fairs, and you see them at carnivals, and you see them at football games and racing and all those places.
Oh, and he has kidlets. I like kidlets.
Yeah, he's got 160 acres up in Wisconsin.
Ooh, lots of places to dig.
Yeah, lots of places to dig, but it's cold up there.
It's cold here.
Here's some of the places that he's performed at. I shouldn't say he performed, but he lit off the booms and the fireworks.
Oh, that's cool.
Some of the different venues. But you know, in addition to these large venues, a lot of times this stuff works with entertainment.
Oh, music.
A lot of times music, other different types of shows. He's worked with some of national name groups that are known worldwide.
Ooh, like AC/DC, Cheap Trick, Iron Maiden. Well, I've heard of a lot of these. Kiss. Yeah, you have his tongue. You're related. Ozzy Osbourne. I watch his wife on TV. Alice Cooper. Wow, there's some pretty big names here.
But you know, in addition to that, he's a computer guy too, and does a lot of YouTube stuff. Every time Wrangler Star has a live stream, he's a moderator in it. And he's also helped a lot of other channels. Some I'm sure you're familiar with.
Oh, Big Family Homestead. They're in Ohio like we are. Well, for a little while longer. Boss of the Swamp. Yep, know them. Clean Slate Farm. Yep, there's another one. Crag Dweller. Yep, I like that picture there. Daddy Curbs. Homesteading, Real Life, Permaculture, The Fundamental Home. We had Amanda on not that long ago. The Garden Fork. That sounds like an interesting channel. I hope people watch it. Joe's Neon. Boy, there are some big names here. Lumina Acres. Great family there. Off Grid Nation. We watch him and his son. And Road to the Farm. My People has one of their tote bags.
Scrambled-O. And even Tangy. I'll be darned.
Ooh.
Look out! Look out!
Smudge, wait for me! Nope.
There you go. You're
okay,
live.
Nope. Now see. Can you hear me now?
They'll hear you now.
Still no sound? Oh, okay. I was going to have to do sign languages, and I only know a few things with sign languages. Most of that takes only one finger of my hand. Okay, we're live. Going to have a good show tonight. Those of you that are on Small YouTube Homesteaders on Facebook group will know Will, because he's one of our larger channels that we have on there to sort of bounce back questions and hit him up for questions and answers and stuff. The Weekend Homestead does, you saw our promo, he does a lot of pyro tech stuff for a lot of not only bands, but other facilities, I guess, for a better term. They're in the area that he lives. He's a computer software geek, so it should be interesting because, as we all know, Daryl's a computer geek. So it's going to be a good fit. Yep, got a thumbs up over there. So I think it's going to be a very fast interesting evening tonight. So get those questions ready. Make sure you put them in all caps so we can see them and ready to go.
Well, and I refrained from putting any explosions in here tonight.
Yeah, we're not doing any fireworks. You already saw those on the promo.
I didn't want to be accused of copying somebody.
That's true. No, we don't do copyrights. And if we do, we'll tell you where it came from. Yeah, it's Daniel, no, it's not the hunt and peck type of one finger either. I don't hunt and peck. I can type 140 words a minute. I don't need hunt and peck. Are we ready?
I think we're ready.
Okie dokie.
Let's see if he's here. Will, you around?
How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see y'all.
Any questions?
What's wrong with the explosions?
Yeah, really.
We did 3 of them in the promo. I figured that was enough.
You know, if I was thinking about it, I would have brought some indoor fireworks here, and like when I came on, it would go whoosh, you know, and then set off the smoke alarm in here, and then we'd be listening to it for the next half hour as I try to get the battery out of it.
Yeah, Frugal Farmer, not too bad. So far I see there's 24 watching. So
that actually happened, by the way. True story. Cameron's first birthday, I got pyro that you could shoot indoors, and I shot it off of his cake, which was awesome. Everybody was in awe, but then all the smoke detectors in the house started going off. And he was born in January, so we're in the middle of Wisconsin. All the windows and doors are open, cold air rushing into the house to try to get the smoke out from the pyro that I shot inside the house. So, you know, that's kind of how my world is.
I totally understand that. I did that same thing with Vans many years ago. You were probably still in diapers.
Yeah, I don't even think he was around, Daryl. Let's face it.
Yeah,
I don't think Will was even a glimmer in his parents' eye when you did your pyro stuff.
AC/DC were teenagers at the time, and the Rolling Stones were just getting started kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah.
No, he did bubblegum music. That's how far back we go.
Bubblegum, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not even pop music today, right?
Yeah, well,
yeah, Lemon Pipers, Ohio Express,
yeah,
Music Explosion.
Bubblegum music.
Perfect. That's fun.
Yeah.
How's everybody going today? Good? Everybody doing good, chat?
People born in January rock. Well, Nina, Daryl was born in January. What can I say?
Coco Noel says, "What's your tartan, laddie?"
Well, let's clarify that right out of the gate, because I know that everybody's wondering what I'm wearing with this T-shirt, and I'll just show you right now.
Oh, we're scared.
Unfortunately,
there's seams in that. They're killed.
I had all the plans in the world to square away a kilt and everything like that, but before we got on the air, I gave my reasoning, and I actually have a pretty good one, and this is where the dramatic, sad music kind of comes into play. But this weekend I was doing pyro, and on the way home from the Kiss concert, it was about 3 in the morning, and I was about 5 miles from the Homestead, and just driving home, and a deer walked out in front of the road, and then a second one walked out, and I hit it. And unfortunately got in a car accident on Saturday. I didn't get hurt. The deer seemed to be okay too. It got up and ran, but it wrecked the front of, unfortunately, it wasn't even my car. It was the missus's car. So then I spent most of my day today on Monday, when everything was open, calling places for insurance. So I didn't have time to square away, run to the kilt shop and buy a kilt and that whole thing. Ice cream either, if that gives you any clue of, you know, how bad of a day it's been. So
yeah,
okay. I guess
Nancy Briggs says Rolling Stone were still pebbles.
Yeah,
that's right. They were.
No, I see the bee lady here says, "Wow, legs."
Yeah. Well, Big Family Homestead's in here also.
Yes, I saw.
I didn't see that. See, I was looking at the camera.
Yeah, a lot of people just know me from like here up, and actually, I do have legs and feet. And my toes look pretty good. They're not. I need a little bit of trimming and stuff, but looking good.
Well, and Wayne wants to know how the weather is, Will, and Coco wants. Well, she just simply states no Speedos either. I don't know what you and Coco have going.
Yeah, really.
It's a long joke about what YouTube bloggers and video guys wear, and gals for that matter, wear, because everybody sees the shirt and usually the hair and everything else, but they don't really see kind of like, you know, it's like you don't vlog with like your leg up in the air like this, like, hey everybody, look at my leg. You know, it's just, it doesn't usually work that way. And even when you shoot videos, you're not shooting a full, like you can see the person. It's usually kind of from the stuff like the news report.
Exactly.
it's the same thing that everybody says all the time. It's like, you know, what do the reporters wear underneath there? And like, if you've seen Anchorman or any of those movies, they always talk about wearing Speedos or, you know, that kind of stuff underneath the professional desk. So they got the suit and the tie on up here, and then, you know, Speedo and flip flops down below. So that's where that came from. Regarding the weather, what a surprise! I got a news flash for you guys. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch right now. And I hope while we're doing this, the power doesn't go out and everything goes, you know, kaput, because quite honestly, we're probably going to have some storms roll through here in about an hour, hour and a half. So the rain's still coming. I've had 2 days out there with no rain this week, but, you know, we're back at it again, and it's going to rain here the next 24 hours up there. So still going along.
You got him talking about your legs. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, Wayne asked how the trees were doing, so we got off of the legs there. We even have Tim Beverly.
No, they're coming back. They're hairy legs. Yeah. Put them away.
I think my legs are pretty good. I mean, they're very Wisconsin legs. It's kind of funny. Like, you move the shorts up a little bit, and I've got the tan line. I've got the farmer tan, you know, the tan feet with the flip-flops, where if I take them off, you can see the lighter stuff and everything like that.
Oh, did you? There was somebody posted a picture on Facebook this weekend. This lady must have been had to be out in the sun all weekend, and she had Crocs on, and she took her Crocs off, and you could see the dots. Yeah. It was hysterical.
Well, and Grizz just brought his livestock in the room.
Yeah, his kitty cats anyway. Oh.
So somebody asked a question about, I can't really see, unfortunately the chat comes up right here, but I get it like later. So you said somebody asked a question about orchard or trees?
Wayne asked how your trees are doing.
So we shot a video this weekend. I actually had to replace, I think I said this in the last upload that we had, I had to replace 4 of the peach trees around the property. I was trying to extend the zone to make it work to have peach trees out there, but they just didn't go. We're zone 3B, 4A. And I tried to do a deep mulch method on them, where you build a box and you have, you know, 6 to 8 inches of mulch to help raise your zone up. And I tried to grow something in zone 5. Unfortunately, all of them died over the winter. So I planted 3 Bradford pears, and then I had 2 extra spots open, so I did 2 more Macintosh. So now I have 4 Mac, and then 3 Bradford, and then 4 plums. But all the trees, we did this 75% pick, which I don't know if people know what that is. I'll explain it, but it's, you pick off 75% of the buds and the flowers and the apples off of them for the first 3 years of owning them. And basically what will happen is it forces the tree to kind of freak out and go, holy cow, I've lost all my apples. I need more branches. I need more roots. And then it does that, and it helps the health of the tree, so that then when you get to years 4, 5, and 6, you have bumper crops. You don't get branch or root damage or anything like that. So it's kind of a little trick for people who are just getting started in the orchard business.
We haven't done that. Maybe that's why we have not a whole big crop of
we're not in zone 3
well
either.
That's true, but sure. We have to get that peach tree planted. We watched your video this weekend of your new place.
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
it's coming together.
Oh lordy, that place is gorgeous.
You guys happen to see on Instagram, we just posted the pictures of the screen room. Everybody calls it the scream room because everybody thought that's what I was saying on the thing that I go out. It's actually a screen room. You got to have one in Wisconsin with the bugs. So
okay. No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we posted the pictures on Instagram, and actually on my phone right now, I haven't uploaded them yet, I started staining it, so you'll actually see the final color with the tin roof on it.
Oh,
cool. We finally had 2 dry days, so I could actually go out and stain it and stuff like that, because you have to have it bone dry when you do that, because otherwise, if you stain and seal wood and it's not completely dry all the way through, what happens is that water gets trapped inside the wood, and it'll basically start to rot it from the inside out. Even though you got the water treatment on there, the water in the beginning can't get out right, so then you have problems. So
this obviously is not the first house you've redone.
No, it's actually that's kind of how a lot of people ask, you know, how did we buy the homestead or how did we get into it? And actually it started 4 or 5 houses ago, because, you know, we bought our first house. It was a 1960s little A box that had 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and then just, you know, the 1960s style little whatever. And that was the first house we fixed up, and then we sold that, and, you know, we did okay with it, and then bought the next one and the next one and so on. And every time I've learned a different skill. Like some of the houses needed some plumbing, or some of the houses needed windows or doors or whatever it is. And you just kind of learn those skills as you go. And it's kind of all culminated to the point of what we're at now, which is, you know, the property. That, and the other thing is, along the way, I've met a lot of people that are good at different things. So I know what I'm good at. I know what my buddy Todd's good at. So you know, Todd does the carpentry work because I'm the kind of guy who will cut a board 3 times and it's still too short. How do I make this thing longer? So, you know, he does a lot of the carpentry stuff, but then I do a lot of the electrical stuff. So when he has a project or something like that, he'll call me up and vice versa. Well,
this just kind of brings up another question, though. Your property's 2.5, 3 hours away.
Yep.
So are the people that you have helping and working on the property when you're not there, are they local to that area or are they traveling that distance?
It depends on the scenario. Like, give you an example, you can't really do aluminum seamless gutters by yourself. You just can't. It's too complicated to get the materials and have it done right and stuff like that. So like that one, I worked out a trade with somebody where I did some computer work for him, and in exchange, I got a good deal on gutters on the house. But like Todd lives in Wisconsin, and he's about an hour away from our place, so it's really easy for him to shoot up there. He spends a couple days at the house and has a good time and relaxes and stuff like that, and then does work and so on and so forth. And we kind of trade off back and forth on different things. Like the screen room example, we were sitting at dinner one time and we drew it up on a napkin because people are asking, hey, do you have plans for this thing? And I'm like, yeah, it's on a napkin or a piece of paper, you know. We drew it up, and then he's a really good carpenter, and he's like, hey, let's take this extra stuff we had here and the stuff we salvaged from over there and kind of put it together. And we bought maybe $150 or $200 worth of parts, and we built this thing. And when you guys see the pictures of it and everything, it's, you know, one of those things where just a little bit of thought and a little bit of time and scrapping some materials together and stuff like that, and you can make some pretty cool stuff.
Well, the property you have now was not purchased all in one parcel.
No, that it's funny. I say this many times on my YouTube channel, is you guys are catching me kind of at the end of my journey. I actually wish I knew about YouTube, you know, 5-6 years ago when we started, because it started out as we bought one piece of property and then sold a piece off to one of the neighbors and then used that money to buy the next piece and so on. And when we started out, it was one of those things where the properties around us were never really for sale. And then all of a sudden, when you buy one from one of the neighbors, the word gets out that, hey, you're buying properties in the area. And that's when somebody approached us and said, hey, my dad died. He can't use the property anymore. You know, we're the kids and we don't want him to take care of it or maintain it or anything like that. And at that point in time, you know, he bought it back in '47 when it was, you know, $1,200, and they just want to get something out of it. And that's when you can kind of negotiate a deal. That's actually one of the things I tell people when they try to get started and are looking at doing it is, you know, find a place and just, even if it's 5 acres or a small piece of property, start there and then just pay attention to the stuff around you. And over the years, as things happen in people's lives, things change, and all of a sudden there could be opportunities. And that's exactly what happened with us.
Well, we've got either Brad or Krista or both of them are in the room here. It's my understanding they're moving up to Wisconsin.
Yes.
How
August 7th is their move date, from what I understand.
So what's the proximity of their property to yours?
I think it's about an hour and a half away from us. They're further south. I know that. Like, we are, if you were to look at the state of Wisconsin, if you know where Canada and Michigan and all that is, we're probably further north towards that than they are. They're kind of, if you drew a line, kind of, I don't want to say the middle of the state, like that, like, you know, if this is Wisconsin, you know, I'm up here and they're kind of in the middle of it. Then you got the lower part by Milwaukee or something. I don't know the exact, probably about an hour and a half, I'd say, from us.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, no, I talked to Brad. I said, you know, Brad, I know you're wanting to buy a tractor or anything like that, but you could always drive up and drive ours around and figure out what you want to do with it, or if you like it, or that kind of stuff, to figure out what you want to do before you end up buying it. Because that has been one of the most popular things we've been talking about on our Thursday night shows. He and I do a show, and we don't know what we call it. It's either tech talk or farm talk, or it just depends on what we're talking about that day. But he's been doing a show. We've been doing it for probably 8 or 10 weeks now, and the last 3 episodes have been all about tractors and what the best is and all that. It's fun to talk about that stuff. So,
well, sure, it's all, you know, something a little different.
We're not supposed to let you have any ice cream.
Pretty hard. I looked in the freezer and there isn't any in there, and because of the accident, I didn't have.
We were just told, whatever you do, don't let Will have any ice cream.
So here's one for you. The missus this weekend. We've made chocolate magic shell, like, from scratch. She figured out this weekend how to make caramel magic shell from scratch. So we're hopefully going to be shooting a lot of videos, like a lot of takes. Oh, we got to make that one again. Oh, we got to make that one again, so we can do it a couple times. But yeah, we're hoping to do something on that. But yeah, she's now into making the treats that you put on top of the ice cream. So.
And Wayne has said that your wife's photo with your sons was cute.
Which one?
Your wife, Will, your wife photo with your sons was cute.
Oh yeah, she's having a lot of fun with them. Like this weekend, wasn't with them, so they stopped at all the stops along the way, and so I'm out at the stadium working, and I keep getting text messages with photos, and it's like, hey, we're here at the mini golf course. Hey, we're at the diner, and all of our favorite stops, and they had a great time up there. And that's the cool thing about it is the area that we're in has a lot of different activities. You can pay for some are free. Like there's a lot of little great parks and stuff like that you can go to. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, B-Lady, now I think this is the third time we haven't caught it yet. She says, one more time, Michael Jackson, explain yourself.
Michael Jackson, explain yourself. The Michael Jackson hair thing?
Could be. I have no idea.
I had nothing to do with that. I would have been in like kindergarten at the time that happened. Michael Jackson story, though, I can tell you about it.
I didn't do it either, Will. I had already quit by that time.
No, so there's so the story about Michael Jackson, and this is kind of interesting, is so he was shooting a commercial for Pepsi, and they were doing some kind of effect, and the effect went off low, and it actually, some spark landed in the top of his hair, and he kept going, like his head was on fire. And he was out there doing his thing, and the hair thing was, they ended up running out with a wet towel and throwing it over the top of his head and putting it out and everything like that. And, they say that kind of led to where he was eventually, that incident, but, that's here nor there. But then later on, back, I think 2 years ago, I was supervising the fireworks at the Janet Jackson concert when it was through town, and one of the technicians happened to say something like, yeah, and we work really hard to make sure that we don't start this Jackson on fire, because they're related to me. I think that's probably where it came from, because that came in one of the...
As long as she's not going to drink Pepsi, I think she's fine. Wasn't that a Pepsi commercial that he was doing?
It's something like that, yeah.
I think it was Pepsi commercial.
Yeah. Yep. Surprisingly enough, though, I would have to say this, that barring a couple of the tragic accidents, we'll put those off to the side for a second. If you look at the number of shows that go on a weekly basis or monthly or yearly basis, and then all of the technical stuff that goes in and all the things out there, the rate of accidents in the professional fireworks industry has dropped by about 80% since around the mid-90s when they started imposing a bunch of different regulations on that stuff and making it harder to get the equipment and to have training. And it's amazing to see the difference in injuries before the mid-90s versus today. I mean, there's only really one incident that was significantly fatal, which was the Rhode Island nightclub fire a number of years ago. But that wasn't done by a professional. That was a guy who got some fireworks from his buddy and thought it would be cool to shoot them off inside of the nightclub. And I think 65 people ended up losing their lives.
I was going to say, there you go. He didn't have a whole lot of brain cells to begin with.
No.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, I know it's obviously changed. Back when I did it, I would go to the store and buy flash powder. That's what they called it.
Yep.
For the stage, and I bought 5 pounds at a time.
Yeah. Try that now and not having the cops come.
and 5 pounds of that stuff is almost like a bomb.
My friends at the ATF would be over at your house. Not I can't talk to you about that stuff you just picked up there. But all that is regulated. And the thing is people still enjoy it. I think the shows have gotten a lot more spectacular on what they're doing on the shows and the effects that they're doing and things like that. Mm-hmm. And the safety level has gone up significantly. So I think that's one of the things on why I like this industry is there's a lot of excitement. You entertain. I mean, when was the last time you did something for 50,000 people and they all cheered?
Right.
It's kind of, there's some excitement to it, which is really cool. And it's a fun way to get to meet a bunch of people. I had dinner when we were at the KISS concert with a gentleman in Australia who's been doing lighting shows for major concerts in the United States, and he flies home for 2 weeks. He'll be home and then he comes back to the States and he works for 10 days and he flies back again. And for this one, it worked out that they only had 2 shows during the period of time. He's like, I spent more time in the air going to and from my house in Australia than I did working for myself. Great characters and people, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone asked, Tim Beverly wants to know if you ever did any work for the Boy Scouts of America jamborees.
I was a Boy Scout, but unfortunately, I've unfortunately, in our area, the scouting is not as strong. Like when we lived in Milwaukee, scouting was really strong, and they had a whole bunch of different things. And I know there's a summer camp in Wisconsin that's really popular for the Boy Scouts that a lot of the states come to and use. I can't remember where it was. I think it's near Fremont, Wisconsin. Unfortunately, since probably the last 10 years, scouting has really slowed down both in Wisconsin and in Minnesota. So unfortunately, there's not the same avenues or other parts of the country where the scouting is still really strong. So no, unfortunately, I haven't done anything. If they called and said, hey, let's figure something out, I would even love to hold a class for them, you know, and I know that's something they need to do where they have merit badges and stuff like that. If they had one to do about fireworks, I would teach that class, you know.
You'd have an armful by now.
Still have all my fingers. My mom calls me when I do the big shows that have to do with TV and stuff, like we did one for NBC on Thursday Night Football that was televised, and there's a bunch of different television things, and you know, my parents will see it on there and they'll text me, and my mom, I'll get a message from my mom the next day going, do you still have all your fingers and everything like that? And I send a picture back of my hands going, yep, Mom, I still got all my hands. I haven't torn any off. So.
Well, I know back when I did it, there was very little to be able to buy.
Sure.
You know, you had to make up your own flash pots. You just had to build all that stuff yourself. So obviously a lot of people got carried away. A lot of people got hurt. Yeah. Because little bit goes a long ways.
But even, I mean, here's something to think about, though, is even like the KISS concert, they had probably 150 different effects that were on the stage. But not of those, probably there's 30 different effects that they used in different ways, where you put a thing called a gerb, it makes like sparks and stuff like that. You point it upwards and it does one thing. You mount it on a guitar, it does another thing. You mount it on the rafters and have it shoot down, that makes another effect. So one thing, they're getting really creative on how they can use them. Like the guitarist, he had 3 of them mounted on the neck of his guitar, and then he would be playing, and then there was a little button on the bottom of his guitar. I'm not trying to give away the secrets, but there's a button you would press, and it would shoot out of the end. And then when the technician would see that it shot out of the end, they'd wait a second, and then up in the air, they'd have a little burst go boom. So it looked like he just shot a rocket out of his guitar to the upper part, but in all reality, there was sparks in his guitar, and then there was something in the ceiling, and that's how they do it and everything like that. So there's a little bit of showmanship involved with it, but you know, those simple effects can be used all different ways, and it makes the show more exciting and more enjoyable. There's so many people who are just like, "Wow, that's the coolest thing ever." He shot something out of his guitar, and I'm like, "Shoots his guitar." So you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your homestead.
Sure.
Obviously, with your full-time job in town and young family, raising them, being 2.5, 3 hours away from your quote-unquote property, bug-out place, location, homestead.
Yep.
Well, a typical garden would just not fall into the equation. So I know you do a lot of permaculture type stuff. You do a lot of fruit trees, perennials. Do you have future plans to maybe move to that property and maybe get some animals and so on and so forth?
Good question. Right now we're trying to sort out the scenario. Our boy, so we have two boys. We have Lincoln, who is 7 months, and Cameron, who's 5 years old.
Cameron's are you done? Are you done?
With kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one broke the equipment on the way out, so we're done.
Oh, okay. All right.
Unless we, of course, that's an option out there. But I asked my wife, I said, are we thinking about an adoption? She said, are we going to get a puppy? And I said, okay, that answers that question. So I have thought about it. We've talked about it many times. The issue is the area where our property is, there's not as many opportunities as there are right now where we are. So it's a good balance for us. We've got a lot of friends in the city. We've got a lot of friends up there. So we kind of enjoy kind of the 2-location lifestyle. Has it crossed my mind to go up there? Absolutely. You know, we've thought about animals and things like that. One of the things that we do for animals is we take care of the wildlife on our property, because you can have domestic turkeys, but you can also take care of your property so that then wild turkeys will stay on your property, or you could have a cow, or you could, you know, take care of your property so you have deer. So for us, our animals tend to be more wildlife than domesticated. If I had a choice, I want pigs. I think pigs would be great to have. You know, I love bacon and pork. everything else, to be honest with you. And it just seems like having a pigs would be awesome. That and really popular right now. I mean, I was talking to my buddy who's a farmer, and he was talking about the price of pork and what it's selling for in the cities. And farmers are making a killing right now, you know, growing animals on pasture in Wisconsin and then bringing them into the city and, you know, selling them. So, you know, I have thought about it. We've considered it. I think right now we're kind of in a holding pattern for the next couple of years. Wait till, you know, our son is in school and see how that goes and see how careers go and everything else, and then, you know, kind of make a choice. The nice thing for us is it does give us an option, because I mean, if something happened in the city here where I lost my job or my wife couldn't find work or we needed to make a change or something like that, we always have that plan to go to, you know, if we needed to for whatever. So it's nice
ice
to have
cream.
Bacon ice cream.
Yeah, I just chuckled at that one.
At the Minnesota State Fair, and I digress, because I'm glad I'm not looking at the chat, because all day I'm like, bacon. The Minnesota State Fair. If, by the way, anybody in the chat and anybody watching, anybody out there, if you get a chance, go to the Minnesota State Fair. It is phenomenal. Everything you think of that has to do with homesteading, farming, 4-H, tractors, equipment, food, all that kind of stuff, all in one place. Plus, there's all sorts of fun stuff for kids, activities, concerts, stuff like that. It's a great Minnesota get-together. 10 days last week of August. If you get a chance, it is worth the drive. Second biggest fair in the world, other than State Fair, because car dealerships inside of there. So, anyway, going back to it, at the State Fair last year, one of the things we added to the list: bacon ice cream and bacon kebab. Basically, it was a bacon, and then they dipped it in chocolate and then fried it.
Oh, Lord.
As the food. And you would think, holy cow, that's kind of ridiculous. You know what? It was tasty.
So you tried it?
Oh, absolutely. That's the whole thing about the fair. You wait until, like, the newspaper comes out in mid-July or something like that, and it tells you the 30 new foods, like sushi on a stick or deep-fried Twinkies or whatever it is. And Minnesota State Fair is kind of the testing ground for all those kind of weird things. Last year it was deep-fried cheesecake, where they took a slice of cheesecake and they rolled it in a batter and then deep-fried it, and then they dipped it in either strawberry, raspberry, or chocolate sauce, and it gave it to you on a stick, and it was like a popsicle. Phenomenal.
Oh, Lordy.
And I know you're not looking at the chat, Will, and I don't know if you watch any of the screen at all, but the picture that I have up at the background, just so everybody knows, I believe is an aerial shot of your property up there.
Yeah, I actually can't see the video of it. I can see the chat here, and it's, for some reason, I'm really behind on it. It's just getting going. It says that if I look at the time versus the chat, it's like 10 minutes behind. I'm going to let it do its thing. But yeah, that aerial shot is the what we call the upper homestead. So our property is broken into two parts: the lower homestead, which is where the house we're remodeling is, and then the upper homestead is where the apple orchard is, and the barn, and the off-grid cabin, and all that kind of stuff. And actually, that was where we were going to build our house at one point in time, until we came to the realization of how expensive it is to build a house. So then once we kind of got into it, we decided to go a different route. And that's why it kind of came up that the neighbors, you just got to know your neighbors. And when the neighbors said, yeah, we're moving to Chicago to go move into a townhome, we can't live up here anymore, and we want to be closer to our family and our grandkids. And the people are like, yeah, we just want to get rid of our house. And they ended up wanting to sell it really cheap. They didn't have any agents or anything like that, so they saved all the fees and all that kind of stuff. And we got it at a good deal, and they got out of their situation. So it worked out really well. So once that happened, we went to remodeling a house, which was significantly cheaper than the sticker shock we got when we wanted to build a house.
Wow!
Imagine.
Okay, well, you know, it's just after 9:30 here, so I guess some of the people in the room probably know what time this is. It would be trivia time.
My glasses on here. Hold on. Are you asking me a question?
No, we just played our little trivia introduction there. Simple rules, lots of fun. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window, as received and recorded on the stream here at Two Family Homestead. you must send us an email with your address within 48 hours to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And if you are the winner, we will send you in the mail a $2 bill. So, having gone through all of those questions, the first question that we're going to ask here tonight is, what is Will's favorite food?
Yes, B lady, you can play. They're all talking about fried foods now. Ice cream, B lady says.
B lady says ice cream. That would be it. B lady, you are the winner.
Peaches.
Angie said fair food. That would sound about right to me. Fair food.
They actually, at the fair, they make it's like liquid nitrogen or something like that. They take cream and they hit it with liquid nitrogen and it makes it into little BBs, and then they scoop that and it makes little frozen ice cream pellets. They kind of stick together and then you eat it on a stick.
Okay, B-Lady, be sure you get an email to us here.
Think about the only thing I've seen here on a sticks are Swiss cheese.
Steak.
Well, steak is just normal. I mean, odd stuff.
Well, steak on a stick.
Steak on a stick, but fried pickles and Swiss cheese. And then nowadays it's the Twinkies or the Ho-Hos or stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they just, if they can throw it in a fryer, they do it.
Yep.
I've actually, they've had they have a meal on a stick now where it's got carrot rounds, and then there's potatoes, and then chunks of beef, and then on the end of it they stuck a roll, so you get like a whole meal, like all the different courses of a meal on a stick.
That's pretty neat. Okay, is there anybody in the chat there that's got any questions for Will? We don't mean to just monopolize him here.
Great. Michelle's going to message me recipe.
Okay, Angie's Pantry says hello, Will.
Hello, how are you? I'm still getting the ice cream one, so that's all right.
Yeah, Michelle says she makes a maple bacon chicken. That doesn't sound too bad. Yeah.
If you get that emailed, I'd love to see that. I would say behind ice cream, bacon is the follow-up. So it's I love doing things with bacon. Probably our recipe, actually, we're going to do this in a video here in the next couple of weeks, is you take chicken breasts and you marinate them in your favorite marinade, and then you cut them into long strips. You take a piece of bacon and you stick it on the stick, and then you put the chicken and you fold it back and forth so it weaves back and forth. Yep, and then once you get to the top, just throw them on the grill, cook them up, and then serve it with a little bit of like a peanut sauce or something a little bit spicy on the side. Perfect for the summer. Nice to up, keep it nice cool in the house, and still have a great meal.
Well, Tanya Turner has stated that if hubby's bad, he'll be on a stick too. So
that sounds scary.
And Tim Beverly Farm, jalapeno on a stick.
That's pretty good. Do they do the roasted ones or the smoked ones? I know that's really popular. I've seen that around where they smoke them and do that kind of stuff.
Nancy Brigg wants to know how your Scream room is coming.
Oh my gosh, Scream room. I almost screamed out there today because when I saw that it was going to rain tomorrow or tonight, I was in the process of putting the stain on. So we've got the walls up, we've got the roof on, and somebody in chat last week said, you know what, when acorns fall on a metal roof, it sounds like a gunshot going off in there. And they weren't kidding. I was working on something. Man, one acorn let loose and hit that sucker, and man, it sounded like something exploded in there. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'll do with that. But yeah, all the sides are on, all the pieces are all put together and everything else. And then I'm just staining it right now, but I'm doing it a little at a time because I have to do it between the rain and everything else. But yeah, it's coming together. I'm hoping to get electrical out to it by Labor Day. That's a little bit of a challenge because it's about 60 feet from the house and it's about 40 feet from the garage. So it's one of those where I'm going to have to figure out a way to get the electrical underneath. We ran an extension cord out there just to test it out, and the lighting and stuff works great in there. Fortunately, I got to figure out how to get the electrical to it. And because we're in the woods, can't really put a solar panel or any of that kind of stuff on there because there's just not enough light.
Mountain Mama has asked, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oh boy. Ben and Jerry's makes a ice cream called Half Baked, and it's chunks of brownie, chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough, vanilla ice cream, and chocolate ice cream mixed together. I think that's phenomenal stuff. If I was just going to go straight ice cream, butter pecan is always a favorite, or cookies and cream is always a favorite, but I kind of am leaning towards some of the Ben and Jerry's ones. Like, I try to limit myself to a pint, I think it's a pint, container every other week, and I try to eat like a half of one each week, trying to really ration myself on it, because otherwise I'd weigh like 800 pounds. Was that a zucchini that just flew by the camera?
And Angie's Pantry just said the rest of the zucchini bread that I made looked wonderful. So I told her, I said, Daryl just picked 5 of these.
5 of them.
This morning. Yeah, these are huge. And this is a small one.
I was looking at that, all of a sudden, like across the street, like all of a sudden I see like the top of the table head, like a zeppelin, like right over the top of it.
Yeah, just flies over. Yeah.
Flies over.
Yeah.
So
we do Goodyear Blimp was an hour from us, but yeah, this is one of 5 that he picked this morning.
We had zucchini last year, and it ended up where we have them in planter boxes and stuff. And I ended up missing a couple for whatever reason. And then we weren't up there for 2 weeks. And then we show up, and we have these ones that are, this big around and yay long. And it's like, what do you even do with that? My wife cut them open and cut it into little strands to make like zucchini spaghetti or something like that with it. But there was just so much of it. We didn't know what to do with it. So we ended up leaving it out, and the birds got to them, and, they had a feast on them and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good turnout. But it's kind of funny, like, zucchinis look small, and then like 2 weeks later, or a week later, if you're not paying attention, they just explode in size.
Yeah, these. Well, you went out a couple days ago, and you thought, well, I'll just leave them go, and
this is what they came up with.
Yeah, I decided not to leave them go anymore.
Yeah, and I can't give them away. No, I gave 5 away this morning.
Yeah,
but
there's a guy that was talking about zucchini, and he lived down in Nebraska or something like that, and I guess if you left your car door open, people would open your car door and throw zucchini like in the back seat and stuff like that. They'd randomly, like, you'd go to bed and you'd wake up in the morning and be a little pile of zucchini up on your front porch and stuff like that. Instead of like the teenage kids driving by and egging your house, they leave you zucchini and stuff like that, because there's so many of them. They're in the mailboxes everywhere. Like, it just grows like weeds down there for whatever reason, and everybody is always pranking each other with the zucchini. So, well,
I think we only have 4 plants.
No, we'll go. Well, 6 maybe.
6 plants, and they're just constant.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be
producing very well.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be shredding a lot, and I have 2 machines over here. I'm going to test and do reviews on these to make zoodles out of them. The spiralizers.
So is that like making noodles out of a zucchini?
Exactly. That's what it does.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll have to watch out for that, because I know the missus, she has this thing where you stab it and then you kind of grate it across a bunch of times, and it'll make that stuff so that you can do it for pasta. And we tried it once, and it was pretty good. I mean, I'm willing to try any of the interesting food stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But she said it was a real pain trying to make it, because it didn't do a very good job. Like, it was, some of them were really big, small. It wasn't very
exactly.
That's the challenge with it.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a couple questions here. Wayne has asked, do you have berry bushes? And B Lady has asked if you set off fireworks at your homestead on July 4th.
I'll answer the 4th of July one. If you watch the video that we posted before the 4th, that's from my regular shoot site for the 4th of July. I shot a show the week before the 4th of July there, then we also shot the 4th of July there. So I shoot a municipal show is what it's called, which is one for the city. In the town that we live in, I do that because then all of our friends and family and everybody, plus we get to shoot the big stuff and all that kind of stuff. So for the 4th of July, it's been years since I shot a show there, but I will say I'm working on a show right now that I hope to record, and it's actually going to be, I don't want to say spectacular production because it could be a huge failure too, but it's going to be probably the biggest show that we shoot up there, which is I have a wedding coming up. And as one of my gifts to the wedding that's using our property is I'm shooting a fireworks show. So I have some effects that are going to be, I don't know if I want to tell all the secrets, but there will be some effects mounted on our fencing that goes around the orchard. that'll play out in different angles and things like that. And we're going to try to do something pretty spectacular. So I have that coming up. So I never shoot on the 4th, but we definitely do little shows, especially in the fall, because it's nice because it gets dark as early as 7:30 in the fall. So because of that, the kids can see the fireworks and then still make their regular bedtime versus the summer where they have to stay up till 10, and then I'm trying to clean up from the fireworks while the missus is trying to get them in bed and all that. So that's always a challenge. But in the fall, it actually works out really good. Plus, colder air actually makes fireworks look better. So if you ever get a chance to see fireworks in winter, it sounds odd, but if you see it in winter, there's less humidity and makes the colors 10 times brighter than you normally would have. So an average fireworks show looks spectacular in the wintertime. So there's an interesting factoid for everybody in case they were wondering.
Okay, well that got somebody else's questions because they asked about the wedding, and you just now answered that hasn't happened yet. And Wayne has asked, and I missed this the first time, how's the baby?
How's the baby? And we had
I'm assuming he's talking about a youngster, or
yeah. I don't know. There's no way up here.
You never know.
We're on Maury Povich now, you know. I am not the father, you know.
Yeah, he went off the deep end on that. He went from one extreme to the other. I thought it was Jerry Springer.
No, Maury Povich was always the, we did the test and I looked at the things and you are not he's that guy. Maury Povich.
He is that guy now.
Maury Povich is married to Connie Chung. Remember the old news reporter?
I know, yeah.
That is crazy. Like, that's the weirdest. Anyhow, I digress. Baby, awesome. He is crawling. He's actually getting to the point where I bet you we're getting close to words. He's kind of doing that blah, 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 you know, the babbly kind of talk. And like, he'll get into something. He'll be like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, great. He and I are going to talk for hours on end because I have the gift of gab. So I think he does too.
And he's how old now?
7 months. At least that's what I've been saying for the last 3 months, because I know a couple months ago I was wrong, but I know at some point in time I will be right. 7 months. At some point in time, I could be right, and then I'd be wrong again, so then I'll just jump ahead to another time.
There you go. There you go.
That's that. And then you asked something about the berries. Raspberries doing very well. Strawberries, I never planted them, actually. We're going to do a September planting on our strawberries up there. It ended up where we missed the early season, so I built the boxes. We've got everything ready, but I'm waiting. I'm going to do a September planting. Then they'll go dormant over the winter, and then hopefully we'll have a really strong spring with them. And then on the raspberry bushes, the July raspberry bushes look very poor. The September berry bushes, so we planted 2 types of raspberry bushes. The September raspberry bushes actually look really strong, but for some reason, the summer ones, the early summer, I think it's because we have too much water. It looks like they have a blight, but they have kind of a spotting on the leaves themselves. So trying to figure out what's going on there.
Well, I guess Coco wants to see you in a kilt in the wintertime shooting off fireworks.
Absolutely. I wear flip-flops. These right here. I wear these all season long. My wife thinks I'm nuts. I'm out there running the snowblower with flip-flops on.
Okay, now we had a foot shot.
If you need any strawberries, let us know. Oh, do we have strawberries?
I'll give you my address. Mail me some strawberries.
Oh, we have everbearing and Junebearing. I can send you strawberries.
We'll do a trade. I'll see if we still have some maple syrup, and we'll trade a container of maple syrup for some strawberries.
Oh, I'll send you a whole bag full. That works for me.
How do they now? The everbearing ones that you have, are they the ones that produce the little kind of, I don't want to say squishy berries, or do they produce the ones that are a little bit firmer and kind of the more normal, I don't want to say normal size, but the size that you'd be used to the most in the grocery store?
They're a little smaller now.
A little smaller. Yeah,
but they're not.
They're very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real sweet.
I'm looking.
We have, what size is the bed?
Well, the bed is 4 by 8 foot.
And it's full, and it started out with maybe 12 plants, I think.
Oh, not that many.
I didn't even think 6 of each. And it's full, and they're like spiders now. They're a spider plant. They're going down the sides and into the walkways. So yeah, it's time for me to trim them up. But these are the ones that our granddaughters take care of them. I don't touch them.
Do you grow them on the ground, or do you grow them in boxes?
We have a 4 by 8 foot. I'm going to call it a raised bed. It's 8 inches high.
Yep.
And we did that to attempt to contain them somewhat. And they're not having it. They're just crawling all over everywhere.
Good to know. So I read online and heard some people talk about the idea that planting strawberries on the ground is a bad idea because they just grow like weeds. So
yes.
Then I thought, raised bed would be good. But now you're the second person who said even a raised bed you can't contain it. So that's one of those things I guess you just have to deal with.
Yep.
Do you do nets over the top of them to keep the birds off of them, or do you just let it go?
We do not. We do
Gotcha.
not.
Okay. I was figuring I'd just sit out there with a shotgun and just wait, and that's how I do it instead of doing the net. But just thought it gets a little quieter.
I have to do that for our broccoli.
Yeah, our broccoli, we didn't even get to harvest any. It's gone.
Really?
Yep. Might as well just pull it out. It's done.
No, we got two that are coming back a little bit. I noticed today. They were there earlier today. I don't know about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Squirrels that got them, or is it just
I'm not sure.
What?
I'm not sure what got them. There are no deer tracks. I've looked for that. But
actually, on Sunday morning, mentioning deer tracks, we had actually something kind of special happen. Even though I hit the deer at night and it was just whatever, I got in the accident with the deer, and the deer's probably fine. The car will be fine. I'm fine. Everything else. In the morning, it was about 7 o'clock or so, and I happened to get up early. I couldn't sleep. I happened to go to bed at like 4. I'm like, just woke up at 7, and I'm sitting in the living room, and a doe comes walking out into the front yard, and then 2 little fawns with the spots on them came right behind, and they hung out in the front yard for about 15, 20 minutes, just kind of running and playing and doing their thing, and then they took off and ate some of the wife's flowers, and then off they went. So that's pretty cool.
I'm just glancing through the messages here.
Hold on, I can't.
Like Bandana is in the room here. It says, like my mystery, 20 Asian pears all disappearing without a trace.
That's right. I remember her saying that last week.
We did a video on the garden here.
Thanks for stopping, Wayne. We appreciate it.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, I wish I had those kind of glasses.
I mean, like if I have an issue or something, I just get in there.
Yeah.
I got something on the lens here. Hold on just a second. I'll say.
There always has to be a smart ass in the group,
Anyway, it was a couple weeks ago we did a video, and I pointed out that the broccoli was gone, so I superimposed. We live outside of town, but we're close enough to spit on town.
Yeah.
And while it would be totally legal for me to shoot a gun here, it would not be the smartest or wisest thing to do. But I do have an air rifle that I'm not afraid to use in the backyard. So I superimposed an image of that, and I just simply stated that, if Off the Ranch had this issue, they would use their 50 BFG. And I superimposed that. So
sure, nice.
Little different. Clark Kent.
The glasses. Big black glasses.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I actually get these to pick on Brad sometimes when he's on the chat and stuff, because the interesting thing is the way you guys do it, my video is always up versus when we do the other chat. And it's a technical thing, but people will understand. When I talk, the camera turns on to me and so on. When the camera is off or Brad's talking, I can do whatever I want and people can't see me because it just flips back and forth. So, like, he'll be talking about something really serious and stuff, and I'll just put these on and just kind of lean into the lens and like this. And then, like, by the time I talk, I'm back like this, and nobody's to the wiser that stuff is going on. But if you ever see Claire or Krista or anybody else on there and stuff like that, when they're talking, Brad's trying to be serious, and the person next to him is cracking up. So it's kind of little things you do behind the scenes. So there's a little behind the scenes on the YouTube thing is when you do live stream with the Two Family, you're always on. So I got to be careful what I Brad, stuff
there's no private time when you're on one.
Yeah, we don't let you get away with nothing here.
Making funnies on the thing, or all of a sudden you just like, just disappeared and pop back in, and like nobody ever sees any of that with you guys. I gotta mind myself here and be.
Mountain Mama wants to know if you ever had winter strawberries.
If I ever had which?
Winter strawberries.
I've had frozen strawberries, you know, the ones you get in the bag at the grocery store that they have.
And you've had those in the winter?
That's the same. I had those in the winter. That's probably the same thing. I mean, they're frozen, and I'm eating when it's cold outside, so it's probably the same thing. They taste horrible. Oh, they taste like you're licking the inside of a freezer. Ugh. They're definitely not fresh. And by the way, don't do that, by the way, because your tongue will stick to the inside of your freezer. Not that I know.
I did that when I was in grade school. Somebody said, you can't. I forget what they dared me to do, but my tongue ended up going on one of those things like a merry-go-round that you spin around and jump on and hold on to the bars. Yeah. Middle of winter, my tongue went on the metal bar. They stick. It sticks.
That's the triple dog dare you kind of thing.
That was it. They had to go in and get the teacher, and she had to get a thing of hot water to get my tongue off. Yes.
I didn't know her then.
I was the don't do like she does thing. Yeah, that was me.
Right, can't get my tongue off. Don't move it, please.
Yeah. You know, that was me.
And you had a Band-Aid for your tongue afterwards? Did they do
that? That's all I can remember about that day.
Perfect.
Oh, Mountain Mama says they taste like peaches. Where would you get winter strawberries? I mean, like California?
Florida? Because like there's 12 feet of snow where I live in the wintertime. Do you have to dig them out or snow blow to get the strawberries out? How does that work? 'Cause I mean, maybe in a greenhouse it would work, but how does that?
Yeah.
Hold on here, just a second.
Yes, Dana, it pretty much was Christmas Story Live. Yeah.
There's strawberries. Well, he was talking about the BB gun. I'm like, oh, you shoot your eye out.
Yeah, no. Here, stick your tongue on this metal thing and see if it sticks. Mm-hmm. South Carolina.
Okay,
that's where winter strawberries. Yeah, you can't do that up here in Ohio.
So is that just regular strawberries that they grow in the wintertime, or is it actually a thing like winter strawberry?
Well, Daniel has said tunnels here,
which would be almost like a greenhouse.
Yeah, it's like a mini greenhouse type thing.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Or maybe under one of those things that glass. I don't even know what they're called.
Hot box or
yeah, sort of like that. Yeah.
Grow box. No.
Well, yeah, a grow box, but with the windows.
Cold frame.
Cold frame.
Ding, 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 ding. My address is
Winner
37 South Memorial. Oh, just kidding. I just want to get the $2 bill.
Oh, it's 9:50 time. You need another trivia
you think?
here.
You think we need
so.
Another trivia?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get her started here.
Okay, everybody dance. Oh, music's done. It's sort of like that one thing where everybody
You want to read the rules to them this time?
Has to get a chair. Simple rules, lots of fun. I need my glasses. Will, can I borrow your glasses? You can only win once every 4 weeks. Be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window is received and recorded on the stream here. Must send us an email with your address within 48 hours. And if your address has a different name, please put your real name in the email. Make it up twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And here's the next question.
Okay.
Somebody said they're going to look it up on the Google.
You wouldn't believe how many times people have said they have a tab open with Google just ready to do search. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, the question is up. What is Cameron, who is 5 years old, and Will's favorite summertime activity? Bandana Grandma fishing.
Think she watches?
Bandana's got you nailed.
I'll tell you this, that when I was growing up fishing with my dad, I remember getting up at like 4 in the morning. We'd load up the boat and go out to Lake Michigan, and him and his friends would all go, and we'd all go fishing, and I'd fall asleep in the front of the boat and then wake up, and it was like 10 o'clock, and everybody's been fishing. But we'd have a good time and catch fish, and we'd go back and have a fish fry. And, you know, that's just kind of how it is in Milwaukee. You crack a beer, make a fish fry. I was only 6 at the time, but, you know, old Milwaukee didn't taste too bad. And, you know, we just had a good time fishing. And then, you know, I thought, what a fun thing to do. We actually did a funny one is we did a live stream with my old man myself and Cameron in a boat fishing up at the homestead. I happened to get enough cell phone signal, and we did a live stream there, and everybody was in there, and Cameron was catching fish and doing that whole thing, and we had a great time, and we've done it a number of times on the channel, and it's always been well received, and people like the scenery and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, if I can take Cameron to go fishing, and I can bring a bunch of you guys with, and we go, that's great for everybody. We all have some fun. So
you do not actually reside in Wisconsin, so you have to get an out-of-state fishing license if you're fishing in Wisconsin, or are you fishing on private property where you don't require one, or what's the deal with that?
Actually, interestingly enough, when you fish on private property in Wisconsin, you still have to have a license.
Oh, do you? Okay.
You knew that, huh? Yeah, so in Minnesota, Cameron and I tend to do a lot of fishing, actually, in Minnesota. We'll go over to the local lake or whatever and go out on the dock or do that kind of stuff. So that one, the license is $23 or whatever, and then Cameron gets his for free. Unfortunately, when I do go to Wisconsin, hunting and fishing are out-of-state tags. So as a landowner, I can hunt small game and birds and things like that on my property without a license. But then to go deer hunting or go fishing or any of that kind of stuff, I have to pay out-of-state, and it's a little bit more expensive. I wish the rules were different, but unfortunately they're not. So that's just how it is.
Oh, interesting to know.
Yeah. I know that somebody said at one point in time that the way their state works is if you're out of state, but you own a property and you pay property taxes in that state, you're considered a resident, but not all states are like that. So Wisconsin is one where even if you pay property taxes, you're not a resident of the state unless you live there for 26 weeks out of the year.
Well, I'm sure that maybe this also applies to hunting as well.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah. So like deer hunting and other things like that. The only thing that's different is small game. You don't have to have a license for if you're on your own property, but then if you go on public land, like we've got 160 acres, but we're surrounded by thousands of acres of public land. So I can small game hunt on my property, but the second I cross the line, then I have to actually get a license for wherever we're going. So if we do bird hunting or things like that, we'll go grouse hunting or something along the logging trails and stuff like that, then we get a license for that.
So have you been bear hunting?
No, because it's usually pretty cold outside, or like the raspberries are really itchy, so at least I have pants on. It's just completely bare. That's okay. Too hard for me. I know that guys in the South do bear hunting a lot, but me,
well, I had to ask. I know somebody was talking about bear hunting a couple of weeks ago here. They were
the animal or with no clothes on.
Well, I think they were talking about the animal, but obviously you were not.
If it's the animal, here's the way about hunting bear in Wisconsin is it's a lottery. So even being that I'm in the state, I've bought a ticket every year. So you buy tickets every year, and it's a lottery, and then they pick a certain number of people that win, and then you get a tag, and then the next year you have to do it again, and those points add up. So like I'm at 15 points right now, and then it raises my chances of winning because I have 15 entries in there. And then once you win, you go to the bottom of the pile, and then you have to start over again. So it's not like you can just buy a license and go. You actually have to get a lottery to hunt black bear in the state.
Gris says it's not hunting if you hit them with your truck.
Got to get a 4-wheel drive.
That's a bummer, too. That's what my old man said. When I hit the deer, he's like, oh, would you get to keep it? Because if you hit a deer in Wisconsin with your car, you can just throw it in the back and take it home with you, and you get yourself a deer. But for me, I got the damage on the car, but the deer ran away, so I didn't even get that out of it. So, oh well.
Well, like I said earlier, at least nobody got hurt.
That's a good thing, but Mrs. is not happy that she's like, why couldn't you hit it with your truck? Why'd you have to use my car?
Yeah, Wayne said something earlier about you're not allowed to drive your car anymore.
This is probably the last of it right here, and her car is a lot nicer than mine. It's got, it's weird. It's got these seats that are air conditioned. It's kind of the strangest thing, but you push a button and like warm air blows on you as you're driving. And like the first time it happened, we were driving along. I'm like, honey, we got to pull over. I don't feel good. Because I didn't know it was turned on. And I'm like, did I wet myself, or like are my pants wet, or I just feel cold all of a sudden. I couldn't figure it out. And then I come to figure out that she turned on the air conditioned seat without me knowing. And then, the air was blown, and it's just a weird sensation. I just felt like something happened. So she's making fun of me.
Okay, well, I'm glad you informed us of that.
There you go.
I'm still trying to pronounce where Bandana Grandma was born. Gonna have to look it up to find out the pronunciation.
Now, No,
Good Lord.
we have a gal in here from Australia that says they hit kangaroos and they can be really big.
Yep, she's a butler. She's in Australia.
Do you ever think of that? Like, we talk about deer and raccoons and things like that getting into our stuff, but like people down in Australia who have gardens, you know, I've seen some people talk about, oh yeah, we got to take care of the kangaroo, or we got the armadillo, or we got the snakes, or we got all these things, and it's just kind of foreign to me. Like, I fight the battle with winter, I fight the battle with deer, and you know, different animals and things like that to take it on, versus like in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, they have a different skill set because they have different challenges with their gardens. They're all trying to achieve the same thing, which is self-reliance, or growing family food for their family, or you know, doing all those types of things. But we all have different types of challenges, even between us and like you guys and where you guys live. The climate is different, or you have different insects or things like that, and it's just kind of an interesting to see how people overcome those. And it's just kind of why I like the YouTube communities that we have, because you learn a lot about your property by watching other people with the things that they're doing on their properties.
Sure. Oh, we have Living on a Dime has stopped in.
She wants to she wants to find out how many books I've sold for her yet.
Oh.
It could be the Mister, and I'll tell you this, Mister, if it's you. Remember that from the other night? What you were saying?
There's obviously something going on there.
No. So when they were on their chat, I feel bad because I was mowing the lawn, and then I decided to hop on, and somebody made a comment about, oh well, was he commenting under duress or something like that or so on? And I think I made a comment in the chat, and like he and the missus cracked up, and we had to all take a break for a second because I said something like, oh, if you're in trouble, just touch your nose twice. We'll be over there to help in a short bit or whatever. You know, that's kind of the thing you. But you know what? It was funny when it happened. So. But yeah, down under everything is poisonous.
Yeah, down under everything is poisonous. Now, I don't know that I've ever heard She's a Butler say that, but
who was it? Oh God, my mind just went blank. That he was talking about Vinny G was talking about kangaroos and stuff like that.
I don't know, but She's a Butler has just said Australia's got tropical to Mediterranean to cold. So apparently they have the full gamut.
What type of? Well, let me ask this question to the person in chat, and let me know if it pops up. What's the definition of cold? I'm just curious because like everybody's definition of what cold is interesting to hear. Like for us, cold is like 50 or 60 below. It gets cold. I mean, like you'll get, like Brad was asking at one point in time, so how do I have to get like 3 coats or whatever and things like that? Like, yeah, it does get cold in the winter. I mean, we had one day 2 years ago, it didn't get above freezing for 26 days. You know, so you got to deal with that kind of stuff, and it's just, you know, what you do. But yeah, I'm just curious how cold is in Australia. Is it like 9?
I don't know, but I'm sure that she heard, so we'll just kind of wait for her to get back at us here. Yeah, varying degrees of cold. Well, here in Ohio, we seldom drop into the negative numbers, but the wind chill is often the cold factor or wind chill is often below 0. But
yeah. Oh, last night's guy one says 50 in Southern California. I have family in Southern California. I have a sister in San Juan Capistrano. I have a sister-in-law in San Clemente. Nephew in Los Angeles, a niece in Murrieta, I think. So, yeah.
I have clients who come from California to Minnesota for business.
Yeah, I'm looking too. I don't see one.
On and stuff like that, and I'm like brand new winter parkas and like big hats and all this stuff, and I'm like, they still have the price tags on it because they just bought them because they want them to go on the trip or whatever. I'm like, we're not going to the Arctic Circle. We're going down the street to an office building. You know, the car's warmed up and the parking garage is heated and things like that. It's not like we're gonna get on the bobsleds and go across, you know, to the tundra to go to our meeting or something like that. So I kind of laugh at the California folks, but you know, it's all right. It's the same thing everywhere. So.
Well, I'm not sure where she's watching, but Coco has asked if anybody else is distracted by Will's earrings.
Earrings?
I don't know. That's what I said. I don't see any. I said, which ear?
You must only show those for special people or something.
She says they alternate. Big silver hoops.
Big silver. Oh, I don't have my silver hoops in today. No. Actually,
oh, see.
No piercings, no tattoos. In case that's your third trivia question. No piercings, no tattoos. See this little dot right here? This was going to be a dragon on my arm, but he started in that one little dot. I'm like, oh yeah, that's too much for me. Too much pain. Done. So that's all I ended up getting is that little dot right there. It's supposed to be a big dragon and look really tough, but.
Okay, She's a Bottler has replied, our weathers are not as, winter's probably is not as cold as USA. So, but even in the USA, there's a huge range.
Sure. Absolutely.
They're good. It's the glare off the cabinet behind you.
Oh, I get it. I'll just hold my hands like this. Is that less distracting?
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
Right. Next question. Just want to make sure that's okay.
Last night, Sky, when Daryl and I got married, it was a chilly evening because it had rained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Wednesday night we got married. My brother flew in from California that afternoon and had to drive an hour from the Columbus airport to where we were getting married. And everyone had slacks on. Most people had a light jacket because it was in middle of September, almost the end of September. My brother comes to the area where we were getting married, and he had on shorts and his Hawaiian shirt. That's how he was dressed. Southern California.
And it was quite chilly that evening. But anyway.
Yeah, there you go, living on a dime. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what my ex used to say. He used to walk to school in the morning with jackets on because it was freezing cold. And by the time that school was over, they'd be schlepping the coats behind them.
Yeah, living on a dime is said to have snowblowers in the morning and shorts in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Going to school, that was walking up the hill both ways in the.
My dad did that. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you guys picked that up and learned well from us older people.
I'm just saying, I kind of know how it is, you know.
Yeah. I just find it fascinating that my kids are older than what he is.
I think there's, looking at YouTube and looking at, everything out there, I think everybody has a lot to learn from everybody. I like the fact that young people just getting started with their homesteads can come out and do a video and you learn something, and people who are experienced and had something before that and experienced something different in their life can help that person out, and it makes a community. And I think there's room for everybody in the homesteading communities and all that stuff. And I don't think age is as much of a factor as what it used to be because of the global community and how everybody helps each other out, which is great.
Well, we all have an invitation to Australia.
Perfect.
Yeah, she says we can all come visit. I don't know where she's at in Australia, but she says you can all come visit me.
That would be great. My sister went to New Zealand, I think, and she said it was like 3 or 4. She left on a Tuesday or something like that and landed on a Monday or something like that. Like one of the things where she was flying back, the date changed. So she left on a Tuesday, came back on a Monday, and it was because of the time zones and everything like that and how it worked out. One of the ways she lost a day and then she gained it on the way back. So it's like she could tell the future, like, I've been on Tuesday and Tuesday's great. So, it's kind of one of those interesting things.
Well, I guess if you could see tomorrow's paper today, you would be rich for the day after tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you get Powerball numbers? Hold on, let me write those down.
Back to the future.
Exactly. Oh, the Cubs are going to win the World Series? Yeah.
There you go.
So, perfect.
Well,
the chat actually finally caught up there, so it's awesome.
It's 10:11.
Yep, we've gone an hour. We're going to leave it up to Will. We're going to leave it up to the people in the room here. If you'd like to go on a little bit, or if you've got any questions, or
wait. I thought like a week ago or 2 weeks ago we were talking that we were going to see if we can do a full 24-hour live stream. I've got plenty of water and beverages and everything else, and we're ready to go. So everybody better have something to snack on. Full 24, like telethon style, you know. Call in at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We got the one act show out there doing its thing out on the stage. No?
I'm sure that if we go for 24 hours, you're gonna have to go get your kilt on.
Oh yeah, at some point in time. But what cuts you off right here? So you just...
Oh, I can't pan down?
I actually get a lot of guff from my shirt. Don't worry.
Rat Family Homestead, welcome.
If you saw, but don't worry.
There you go.
I get a lot of guff from people, and actually somebody made this, one of our fans, and they put our logo on the arm and stuff. I get a lot of guff from time to time. One of the biggest crops that we have on our property is actually trees. So when you have 160 acres of forestry, you have to, you know, cut trees down from time to time and things like that. And in the beginning, when we first got on YouTube and started posting videos, of course, a lot of people have opinions of things, good and bad. And we posted some stuff about cutting down trees in the property, and people went ballistic. There was a couple people who, I'm unsubscribing to the channel because you're cutting down trees, you're destroying nature and things like that. And like it's one of the things you need to do in a forest to, you know, help it be healthy and to continue to grow and to get better and stronger trees, and by cutting out some of the deadfall or whatever. And somebody, you know, I'd always been defending myself in the chat or to text and things like that about cutting down trees. So somebody thought it was funny to send me a shirt that said I hugged it first and then put our logo on. So,
well, you were talking about owning pigs earlier. Rat Family's here. You can talk to them. They just got some not too long ago.
Actually, there's another gentleman, Al from Lumna Acres. He had the little piglets on like that. The baby pigs with those bigger.
Yep.
Well, and Tommy from Alderman Farm is trying to get rid of a bunch. He'll make you a good deal.
Yeah, they could just drive them up. That'd be awesome. Like the neighbors in the city would be like, what's the biggest dog breed I've ever seen? What kind of dog is that? You know, they're kind of looking at you. We were at a barbecue 2 years ago up in Uptown, which is kind of a little trendy area of the city. And, you know, everybody was there and drinking their craft beer and kind of hanging out and kind of being hipster like. And somebody brought a pet pig. They had a little pig, and like the little pig wore diapers inside the house and everything like that. And it was like a pet, like they had inside of their house. So they just run around, and like you're just sitting in the kitchen. All of a sudden, the little pig just runs right by into the living room. So
probably a pot-belly pig. My girlfriend used to have one. There was nothing pot-belly about this thing. It was huge.
So do you like train them to go outside, or do they go in a crate?
No, they have litter boxes.
They have a
litter box, like the kitty litter box, and you pray that they hit it. Mm-hmm. Daryl's friend had one
a potbelly pig.
A potbelly pig, and it was huge. It was it was huge. Its name was Magnum. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
how
that
long do
pig.
They take? Is it like a 5-year thing or 10 years? Because I mean, dogs are 7 to 10 years, 12 years, depending.
I'm going to say so.
I don't know how old Magnum lived to be.
No.
I was going to say, as far as dogs, we have a 14-year-old dog here, so.
Can I ask the really odd question, which is, when the potbelly pig dies, do you process it, and then you have?
He did not.
It was a pet.
Okay.
I mean, this one lived in the house.
Right, but I
in
mean,
a dog cage.
Still pig, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's edible. I assume.
Could be.
She's a bottler. Has put up here. Our bush lights up every summer, and that's the only way some plants regenerate. So I'm not sure that I understand that. Maybe she can clarify that a little more.
Is that? Well, the bush is what they call the outback, I think, or the woods or something like that, maybe. Dundee. Oh, I probably offended everybody from Australia now.
No, because she just said the only place for pigs in her house is in the freezer.
They are Jewish, Will. What?
No, I'm the one who's
Living
Jewish.
on a Time says, "Oh yeah, let's eat Susie. That would go well with the kids."
Trust me, Daniel, I have bacon in my freezer.
I don't mean to be offensive to anybody. I'm just wondering, you know, like it's...
Couldn't have it. I mean, my mother wouldn't have it in her house, but, you know, Once I got married, Mom says, you do what you want. Okay.
Do
Bacon
you guys
it is every day.
Oh, Grizz.
I don't know if anybody ever asked, but do you guys have animals on your property, or is it just plants?
We have dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah, we're not allowed anything other than dogs or cats, or we're
Gotcha.
not allowed chicken, we're not allowed anything like that.
We could probably have a rabbit. Probably.
Don't tell Cherish that. We'll come home from Virginia.
No,
with
no,
a rabbit.
no rabbits. No rabbits.
With dogs, I don't think the rabbits would go good. Yeah, we put them in cages next to each other, and then you just hear, "Ooh!" That was it.
I've heard they multiply. Yeah, see, now that's what Dana went to, that Christmas in July craft show that she had on Saturday. Cherish went to it. Dana went home with a rabbit.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, right. Actually, Hannah went home with a rabbit.
That's. I was talking to a friend who works at an animal shelter in the Twin Cities here, and I was asking them about like what dog breeds they see a lot and what different things and so on and so forth. And they said the funniest thing, well, it's not funny, but the oddest thing that I would have never thought of is, what do you think the number one animal that gets turned into animal shelters are? That should be a trivia question, see if anybody gets it. But what is the number one animal that's now being turned in or forfeited or abandoned to animal shelters in a lot of major cities? Does anybody know?
I would guess a snake. That would be my guess.
Any other guesses from anybody in the chat at all? Otherwise, I can say what it is.
Gators? Gators?
A horse? No. Snakes? No. The number one animal that's being forfeited right now in the Twin Cities market to animal shelters is chickens, actually.
Oh.
People end up setting up a little box in their backyard, and they'll get chickens and then find out, because they hear other people get chickens, and then they'll find out that there's an ordinance in the city that they can't have them, so they have to forfeit them. Or they'll get chickens and they'll get eggs and everything else, and then the kids don't get interested in it anymore, or they get tired of it.
Yeah, they find out it's work.
Yep, and then they end up forfeiting them. And they said right now there's a huge problem in the city where there's just a mass amount of chickens every week. I think they said something like the shelter that they have, that they work out of, they get about 20 chickens a week that are just dropped off at the facility because the people either find out it's too much work or can't have them in the city, or the kids aren't. They were cute chicks when they started, and they got their first set of eggs, and everything was great. And then all of a sudden, the work kind of set in, and people have been abandoning and things like that. But yeah, it's kind of a strange thing. But I never knew that up until a couple weeks ago, that chickens were the number one, at least in our market. It could be something different in other cities and stuff like that. But they said it's a growing problem.
I know they don't do this anymore, but back in the day, so to speak, around Easter time, you could go into your local grocery store and come out with a baby chick. They were sold in grocery stores, and they colored them. They dyed in different colors.
Oh yeah, I would come home from the Farm Bureau when my dad would go, and we'd come home with colored chicks.
Well, they had them up in the grocery stores. So I mean, that was obviously it's a very good thing. They don't do that anymore.
Once it got big, Mom gave it away to the somebody, but I never knew what they did with it. Thank goodness.
And I see some people in the chat saying, "Hey, the city could have a barbecue or a chicken for the food shelter and that kind of stuff." There's actually regulations that if they end up a shelter can't kill something and then sell it as food or whatever, it has to be destroyed properly and so on. So they end up killing the chicken and then destroying them. So all the meat and everything just goes to waste. So, it's not something where they could actually turn around and sell them because they don't have the facility, the capability, or the time to process them in a way that would be safe that you could sell them for consumption or whatever it is. Most of them end up getting euthanized and just destroyed, and all of that food is being wasted because of the situation. So it's kind of tough.
Well, I think that happens a lot with roadkill, deer, other things where that food can certainly be donated to different shelters and what have you. But I think in a lot of cases there's so much red tape, it just can't happen.
Yep, I've even seen it where grocery stores and so some food shelters can't take wild game. So I know in Wisconsin there's some cities that are okay with it. Like in the Twin Cities here, if you shoot a deer, you can't donate that meat to the food shelter. Let's say if you had too much or whatever. And the other thing is, some of the grocery stores, they can't give away the food or do anything with it. They have to destroy it. So think of all the produce that could be given to a food shelter or something like that to be used or whatever, but because of whatever city regulations and things like that, they don't have the ability to do that, which is, in my mind, silly. And I don't want to get into the political or sociology conversation regarding that, but it's just one of those things.
Well, and I know that with some stores, outdated breads and stuff like that, there was a time when they would give it to shelters or give it to homeless or different organizations. But a lot of that anymore is not. It goes in the trash because of, well, just to use the word, I guess, do-gooders lawsuits about,
Yep.
It's just, it's gotten to the point of being stupid, and I don't know if it'll ever get fixed. I hope it does.
I know that there's a company now. I can talk about other channels and stuff on different couple ideas and stuff, but Garden Fork, Eric, did I lose you? Oop, maybe not.
We are here, and you're here.
Oh, for some reason, the whole screen went.
I had to cough, so I turned my mic off.
Oh, gotcha. For some reason, like all of a sudden went whoop, and that was it. Eric from.
But
Garden.
you're the only one that knew that. But now you told everybody.
Sorry, everybody in the chat. I'm here to just take the curtain and raise it up, and show you what everything's going on behind it. No, so Eric from Garden Fork had a relationship with a company where they would go to grocery stores and food co-ops and get all of the stuff that wasn't being used or couldn't be sold or whatever it was, and they would grind it up and they would make a mulch out of it and a compost that you could buy in a bag. So instead of buying the composting bag of stuff that's made out of the processed stuff or whatever it was, instead they were going to grocery stores and things like that, where in areas where they couldn't use it for the food shelters and things like that, and process it and then sell it back at a really reasonable rate or really super cheap because they got the material cheap. And then it allowed people to get into gardening and things like that. I can't remember where Eric said he got it from, but it's something out in the New York area that they're doing right now, and it's actually been pretty popular.
We have Heidi here from Rain Country.
Oh, glad to see you stopping by. Appreciate you. And of course, Will's waving to everybody in the room here.
So, I guess those are my
you heard everybody holler. You didn't go deaf, did you?
I love it when people say shout out and then I yell at the thing and nobody ever hears it or anything like that. So, I guess I don't understand the intricacies of how the chat works, but I'll get it at some point.
Well, and let's talk about some other channels here just for a little bit. You do the moderating for Wrangler Star. You've helped out a number of channels that we had in the promo. Can you elaborate a little bit with just how did you get involved in the YouTube? How did you get involved in like with Wrangler Star moderating? How do you help out places like Fundamental Home and Big Family Homestead and
Sure. I'll go backwards through your list. So Fundamental Home, actually, it was Amanda and Tangi reached out and said, hey, we're doing a collaboration project. And they said they're looking for video submissions and things like that. And so I started working with those two on figuring out some collaborations. And then we're part of a help group where people post questions and stuff like that and on different items about YouTube and things like that. And I've been able to answer some questions that way. But that's kind of how I got started with those. And for people who are creators in the chat and who are watching and stuff, send an email or a message to different channels and things like that, and just reach out to them, even if they're bigger. My channel, in the grand scheme of it, of some of these other channels out there, I'm pretty small. I think 30,000. Tangi's close to 10. Wrangler Star's got 500. But you send them a message and say, hey, here's what we want, or here's what we're doing, or here's some ideas and things like that, and you kind of get into helping folks out. Like my buddy Martin, who does Scrambled-O, which is bushcraft, which is a completely different genre. He knows how to do video editing and things like that, but he doesn't know a lot about the business side of it. So I help people out with those. The Wrangler Star thing is actually kind of a funny situation. I was talking to the Fresh Pea, who is Wrangler Star's sister, on some chat on something or other, and she happened to make a mention that they used to do a devotional video and they would do some stuff, but they got so many trolls and so many spammers just spamming this, and this was before YouTube had moderation, really. And I mentioned to her, I said, well, you know that now you can be a moderator and you get the little wrench like the folks here in the chat have, and then they can take people who are causing problems out of this situation. And I just happened to send an email to Cody and said, hey, I was talking to Corinne about, the thing about that. And if you're looking for a moderator, you want to try doing a live chat, let me know. And the next week I got a wrench. And week after that, he did a live stream. And when they do a live stream, they'll get, 1,000 people, 1,500 people in there. And just go along and, clean up the people who are spamming, and everybody else is, pretty decent about everything. And, just that's kind of how that happened. Some of the other channels started out with collaborations, and then people ask questions about the technology or things like that. Like, a lot of people know their thing, whatever their thing is. If it's they know how to do solar, or they know how to live off grid, or they know all these different things, but they don't necessarily know the technology of YouTube or how the internet marketing works, or those types of things. So that's kind of my background in the world. So it's kind of interesting. The worlds collided, and I like to help people out. So, I sit in the YouTube group that we're even part of, and questions on things, and I try to answer them for the knowledge of what I have or my experience, or I have some resources I can answer those questions and things like that. And I look at it as a way of people are helping me, but Blake helped me understand what to do with an orchard first before we ever set up our orchard. I watched his videos and he answered some questions, and there was no cost to that or anything like that. So when somebody asks questions about, hey, how do I do tags in my videos, or what do you think of this, or I'm thinking about doing that, what do you do to get more subscribers, or those types of things, I feel free to help those people out too. And that's kind of how that all started.
Okay, very interesting. Did you start out as the Weekend Homestead, or did you start out with a different name?
Actually, I started out in the fireworks. If you actually look at my real name, it's Got Fireworks. And I was going to be a fireworks channel and do blogging about the fireworks side of it. The problem that I ran into was I thought, I have this great opportunity because there's all these different folks that you could see, all the concerts I do and events and things like that. And then when I read my contract that I have, it says specifically in there that they limit the amount of sharing and things like that, and videoing different events, things like that. So, like, I can get photos when I went and did the stuff for Iron Maiden, but they really kind of frown on the idea of recording any of the show and then promoting it afterwards. And part of the agreement was, so originally when I started this, I was going to be a channel that talked about fireworks and pyro and all those types of things. And we always did the garden and the homestead and the outdoor living and things like that. And then kind of when I got shut down on the idea, I think I had like 50 subs at the time. I got shut down on the idea of doing fireworks videos. I actually pulled them all from my channel and deleted them. And then my wife and I are like, hey, let's talk about the homestead that we go to on the weekends. And then the next thing you know, boom, there was the name. And that's how it started. We live in the city, and then, we'll do that on the weekend. So that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah. Well, I knew your name didn't match your channel. That's the reason I asked.
Yeah, well, the thing is once you hit 1,000 subscribers, YouTube actually lets you change the name to whatever it is. So if you go to www.youtube.com/gotfireworks, you'll find me. But then when I changed the title and branded the channel, you can go to www.youtube.com/The Weekend Homestead, and it actually will go right to that URL too. So once you hit a certain level on YouTube of subscribers or channels or time or something like that, you can apply to the Partners Program, and then once you get the Partners Program, then you're able to make those changes and do those things.
Okay. And again, anybody that's got any questions here, I just once went by me. Bandana Grandma says, I went to Steam it and couldn't figure it all out. So would you like to educate everybody in 5 minutes on Steam it?
Social media. Steam it. Well, my thing today was Instagram. You can't do I was going to promote our promo URL. You can't do that on Instagram. It has to be, 6 seconds or less or something? You can't put a video on Instagram? Is that right?
I can answer that question. Instagram, you can do 3 things. Get the right number of fingers there. 3 things. The first one is You can post.
And everybody's watching you.
Yeah, straight face.
You can't hide.
Okay, 3 things. First one is you can post photos on Instagram. Second one is you can do what's called a boomerang or a float or something like that, where you can take a 3-second video and it'll rock back and forth and make kind of like a GIF animation. And then the third item is you can put a 60-second promo on there. It truncates it. So if you post something that's longer than 60 seconds, it'll cut it off. The interesting thing about Instagram is where the limitation to Instagram is actually putting a link in the post itself. So let's say you wanted to promo, hey, here's my new garden and my video about it. You can post a 1 minute, like for the last video we did, we made a little 60-second promo video for it. And I said, here's it, and then I put the tags in of, whatever the topics were, and then the ones that were relevant to it. And then I put the link is in my description, my profile. So if you go to my profile, then there's a link to YouTube. But the other thing that you can do is at the end of my commercial, because they monitor the text, but they don't monitor the image. So on my video, I make a 55-second commercial, and then the last 5 seconds is a picture that pops up on the screen that says, go to YouTube and search for Weekend Homestead to find it.
Oh,
and that's how you do it. Because if you put a link into your name on Instagram, it pushes it to the bottom because Instagram wants to keep you on Instagram. So the way to work around that is you can search YouTube for the Weekend Homestead, but you can't put the link to the Weekend Homestead in your post.
Gotcha.
Nobody will.
You can't do the www stuff.
Exactly. So
gotcha. Okay.
Send people to your profile, and you get one link in your profile, and you can make that go to your YouTube channel. Okay. You can put it in the video itself, or you can say, look for blank on blank, and they can find it that way. That's the best trick on that.
Yeah,
we can do
but
sneaky about it.
But a lot of these people that think that milk and meat comes from the store, they wouldn't be able to figure it out anyway.
Yeah. No chickens were harmed in the process of making the chicken that you buy in the store. So just easily give those up. The wings, no problem. They'll give up their wings. No chickens were harmed. So, yeah. But I saw somebody ask a question about Steam It.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this about Steam It. Steam It is a very interesting platform. We're going to put all the currency and what you can do with it and everything else aside. The idea that you have another platform that you can post your links to, your blogs, your different things, so that you can reach more people to bring them into what I call your social media ecosystem. I think you use it as a tool, just like you use YouTube as a tool, or Instagram or Facebook. The biggest trick that I learned, and I learned this in a seminar that I took last year regarding YouTube, was the commentary that somebody made was you can't necessarily post just on YouTube and hope that people will find you. Because people like whatever social media platform they're on, so you need to go to those and then bring them to there. People aren't just randomly going to be sitting there on Instagram and go, hey, I bet you there's a video on YouTube about chickens, and then go to it. No, they surf Instagram or they surf Facebook or wherever, and then they discover you there and then go to wherever you want them to go to. I look at Steam It as another avenue to do that, where you can post things. It's a lot less restrictive as YouTube and so on. So guys like Hickok45 who have talked about guns, YouTube isn't very gun friendly. I mean, there's been a couple times where they've shut down his channel, and he's got 2 million subscribers. I mean, he's a giant channel, and there's been some complications with it. Steam It, on the other hand, there's no regulations necessarily of how it's done. So in that sense, you can post whatever you want to whatever genre and whatever type without having to worry about being censored.
At this point in time.
At this point in time, that's the most important thing. I have a feeling, and this is just a speculation on my part, of course, and this is where we get into the controversial side of the show. I have a feeling that as Steam It continues to rise, right now the gates are open and it's the wild, wild west, so that anybody and their brother can all go to Steam It, so their viewership and the number of users and the number of posters continues to grow so they can get to critical mass. And then when they monetize it and turn it into a monetization platform where Steam It is making money, because as far as I know, I looked, and they're not the March of Dimes. They're not a 503c. They're not a charitable organization. It's a real backed company. At some point, they're going to want to turn a profit, and that's when advertising will come in, and I almost can guarantee that they're going to ratchet it down and that they're going to limit what content is on there, or limit that is being paid out to people and things like that. Right now, they're incentivizing creators to come, and they're incentivizing viewers to come because they want traffic on their platform. Once
Sure.
that grows to a point, that's going to change.
Yeah. And as with anything, there has to be some sort of rules and regulations. But
Well,
the question is, where are the lines drawn?
Well, okay, but I'll say this. There's 100 million users on Reddit, which a lot of people don't know a lot about Reddit or how it works, but there's 100 million people on Reddit, and there are really no rules on Reddit. You can find any category and subcategory of categories of people on Reddit, and it's a community for everybody. If you like pictures of birds where people Photoshop arms onto birds and make them look like little humans, there's a whole group of people who just like that, and they look at pictures and share pictures of just that. And it doesn't have any rules, but my point is this. It's moderated and run by the people who are watching it, which vote it up or vote it down, and the people police themselves. That's what Streamit's idea is going to be, is the good creators will get voted to the top and the junk will get voted to the bottom, and that's how they'll police it. So there are communities out there that run really well in that sense, but they also have 100 million people who all have a vested interest in seeing whatever their topic is. So,
well, and that's all fine and good, but at this point, the driving force behind all this is money. So when advertisers start to come in and stuff like this, and they're saying, well, I don't want my ad associated with such and such video, and the video creator says, well, I don't want this company who's paying for advertisement to be associated with my video, you just run into this crazy nonsense of button heads, and nobody's happy. And the next thing you know, they've just cranked down so hard on it, and you got some people that are running YouTube that are saying, well, I'm so goody-goody, nobody should have a gun. Or
yeah,
worse.
that's the part. And then the other thing too is that, like, you get political opinions and you get shareholders and you get all these different things in there. And like, yeah, the cryptocurrency that Steemit is producing is semi-lucrative right now, but we've looked at cryptocurrency in the past, and I'll use the example, and this is where it's going to get, I don't want to say political, but challenging. A lot of people don't know, but there's a website that used to be called Full Tilt Poker. Do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when online poker was a big thing, and like Poker Stars was a website, and Full Tilt was a website, and all these different ones. And they had currency that you could buy and win and process, and you'd put money in, and then you'd get full tilt credits and so on, and then you'd build up these jackpots and things like that, and then you could cash the money back out again and use it for whatever. But it's not backed by the FDIC. It's not backed by any organization or whatever. And when Full Tilt went belly, all the people who had money that was real currency that could be converted into something lost it. So some people had $5,000 in their account or $3,000 that they earned by playing poker all that time and won all the real games, but they didn't cash out. And at the point of when they locked it down, they just deleted it all in like 1 second. Tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of currency that was in Full Tilt Poker was lost, and people lost everything. So if you had a big bankroll that you had won, or a game that you won where you had, and I mean, we're talking big money. There's people who lost $10, $15, $20,000 in a blink of an eye because it was using a fake currency. Well, Steemit is the exact same thing. Steemit is not a regulated currency that you're earning. You're earning Steemit bucks. It's like you're earning weekend Homestead dollars. You come watch my videos, you earn weekend Homestead dollars, and someday you can buy some Trapped mints in the gift shop, with a...
Oh, I forgot to ask how many we're getting paid tonight.
Oh, well, that you got 15 weekend credits, which can be turned in for either a Bic pen or
a pair of glasses.
mystery keys to something, or if we go for an hour and a half, you do earn the empty water bottle. So... But that's kind of the thing on Steemit, and it's not popular. My opinion of Steemit is not popular. Brad and I talked about cryptocurrency for a show, and actually it was the highest show that we had the most thumbs down on. And the biggest reason why is because a lot of YouTubers are sick and tired of the YouTube dollar and YouTube AdSense things and things like that, and Steemit popped up and became this thing. And there are some Homestead channels that are doing very well with it. And American Homestead does very well with it. And I have a feeling that as that market gets flooded with more and more people are going to look at the success story and see some of these guys who have made 20 grand or 15 grand on it and so on and so forth. But there's other channels where they've poured tons of effort into doing Steam It. And I've asked them, I said, have you ever gotten any money out of it? Like, okay, I see that you got 800 Steam It credits. Have you ever tried to turn that into whatever? And they don't realize that when they take their money to an exchange, there could be a 30% cut in there. And then once you exchange it for the cryptocurrency, then you have to exchange it into the dollar. And you have to find an exchange to do that. And that's not necessarily regulated. So there's a lot of scam artists where you get cryptocurrency and you think you're giving it to somebody who's going to turn it into a dollar, and instead they steal it all. I mean, it's the wild, wild west. And I just want to make sure that people go into it with eyes open more than anything else. We're actually in the process right now of actually mining and producing cryptocurrency at our office as a test to kind of learn about it. And I have a buddy who's an expert at the Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are two very popular cryptocurrencies today. And we've talked hours on this stuff. And I know that we're getting into some really geeky stuff, but I know a lot of homestead channels. And even in our group that we have on YouTube of the small homestead channels, I know that there's at least 20 or 30 people who are talking about how Steam It's going to be the greatest thing. And I'm just saying, be cautious. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I see Rain Country. They're obviously participating in Steam It. They're in, I don't know who's behind the keyboard at this point in time, but they say they have yet to try to convert anything. They're just creating an investment there is all.
Yep.
But
and I respect that completely. I mean, any way that you can take advantage of, I mean, people don't make money on Pinterest, really. People don't really make money on Instagram or Facebook. You actually do those things and you don't make anything. You're driving them to either your cookbooks that you're making or your books on saving money or something for your farm. Eventually, it all leads back to something that somebody's selling. Hey, buy my T-shirt. Hey, buy this or do my Patreon or whatever it is. Steam It's just another avenue to do that, and you can make things on it. I just warn people, keep Steam It on a short leash, because the people at Full Tilt Poker thought, oh my gosh, online poker is going to be the biggest thing forever and ever and ever, until the parent company got in trouble financially because they were taking people's cash and then investing it, and then they lost on that. So then they couldn't pay out against the money because there was no regulation of how much money do they have to hold on the side while they're using their fake currency on the website. And the two got different variants. Then there was a draw on the accounts and they couldn't cover it. And all the people who didn't get their money lost it. Steam It, same thing. They're investing tons of money into infrastructure. They're investing tons of money into all sorts of different things. And I know that people have bought Steam It credits to be able to use, but they've also earned Steam It credits. My suggestion is when you get some Steam It credits, cash them out as soon as possible and just constantly do that, because you just never know with a startup if it's going to make it or if it's not. So keep it short so you don't lose your investment.
Yeah, just keep a real short handle on it.
Yep.
Any other questions for Will? I mean, we already know his favorite food is ice cream. Likes to go fishing. Had some tidbits from social media.
And he showed his legs.
Showed his legs.
Still have them. They're right here. They're just down below the camera.
Showed his flip flops.
You can see it here. So, yeah. So.
Here we go again. Ladies, gents, don't get excited. It's okay.
So I'm just looking at the chat here. I don't know how much you guys want to talk about Steam It or anything like that, but I know somebody asked what mining is. How much time do we have? Let me grab the marker board. I'll cover it on one of our tech talks. We're actually working on a tech talk. Brad and I now have the technology where we can bring in a third party to our conversation and things like that. And my buddy who does cryptocurrency, you can create cryptocurrency. So we're talking about doing a show to explain what mining is and how you do it and things like that. I will tell you this, we've been mining for 3 weeks now, and I think he's made $4 total. But cryptocurrency is you're producing a chain of numbers and letters to make a cryptology that then eventually gets a value associated to it, and the most popular one is Bitcoin. And like one Bitcoin today, I think is worth, I want to say it's $2,700. So you could buy a computer and get some software, plug it in the wall, press a button, and it'll start crunching this math equation, which is called mining. And then once it gets to the point where it can't come to a solution with that math equation, it mines cryptocurrency or some type of cryptology that then has a value associated with it. So that's basically how it works, if that makes sense. So what mining is taking a computer, putting some software on it, and having it run, and basically it's producing a Bitcoin. And if it produces a Bitcoin, let's say it took 4 weeks to produce a Bitcoin, you get $2,700 for that Bitcoin today. You just take it to the marketplace, you'd sell it. There's usually a 30% conversion. So take, $60 off the top of that, or sorry, $600 off the top of that $2,700, and you just made, $2,100 with a computer running in your basement. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of the easiest way to think of it.
It's a whole lot more complicated than that, because otherwise everybody would be doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to make it as simple of an explanation, because you have to understand the math, you have to understand cryptology, you have to understand what to do with the coins. And actually, where the biggest money in the cryptology business is these days is in storing them and transferring them. So people can produce these things, but think about, I hate to use this because it's illegal, but I'm going to use it as an example. Think about it. You have a machine in your basement that's producing $100 bills, right?
Ours only produces $2 bills. We're doing something wrong.
Pretend you're producing $100 bills in your basement. At some point in time, you have to take those somewhere and safely transport them to wherever they need to go, and then they have to get stored in a bank somewhere or somewhere locked up to be secure. Well, Bitcoins are exactly the same thing. You've produced this thing at your house or your business or wherever you've produced your cryptocurrency. At some point in time, in order for you to cash it in, you can't cash it in at home. You have to take it somewhere. You have to take it from your house to the conversion place, the dollar transfer conversion place. And then once you're there, money, you have to take it somewhere to cash it in. Well, in the process of storing it, if let's say you had a pen drive that had, imagine you had an envelope with your $100 bills that you just made in it, and that $100 bills started on fire and burnt. What would happen? You'd lose all of it. Well, your cryptocurrency, you're storing it on a pen drive. Let's say that hard drive gets corrupted and all that data is lost, or you physically lose the drive. You just lost all that money because there's no way to do it. So storing that stuff safely is a really very profitable business right now, and transferring it and taking it to places is. So those are just, I don't want to get off on a topic, but that hopefully answers the question about cryptocurrency, what it is. I mean, that's the very simple way to do it, but it's mining data with your computer. That's it.
Yeah, last nice guy once says, I got stopped at the airport for carrying too many Bitcoins.
There you go.
Big lady asked if you make an online wallet with Steemit like Bitcoins.
So Steemit makes, and I hate to use the weekend Homestead dollars as a joke, but it's kind of the same thing. You make Steemit credits, which is an unregulated coupon that you get for Steemit, and then at some point in time, you can convert those into a cryptocurrency, which then you can convert those into a cryptocurrency that then you can sell it.
It's almost like an arcade token.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And the sad part is imagine if you were at the arcade, you put your $5 in the machine and you get your $5 worth of tokens, and then that arcade goes out of business. Now you've got $5 worth of little coins that you can't go use for anything because they're worthless. That's the problem with Steemit is you could take those $5 worth of tokens, but you couldn't take that $5 to the grocery store in tokens and buy bread with it or do anything with it because nobody would want it. You'd have to convert it into a currency that you could use. So, that's...
And this is where the money comes back in, and
yeah,
everybody's got to get their little piece out of it.
Well, that's what She's a Butler says. You are your own bank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so I'm not here to say anything negative about Steemit. I know that I've gotten a rap for being somebody who dogs Steemit a lot, but I'm more trying to make sure that people understand what they're getting into, because a lot of people they have a homestead, they know tractors, they know chainsaws, they know chickens, they know all these things, and they're getting into YouTube and all these different social media things and starting to do stuff on the computer, and it's awesome. I'm excited about that. I just don't want to see anybody ever taken advantage of, because there's a lot of good people out there on the internet, but there's also a lot of really bad people on the internet, and unfortunately, that's the thing I'm more worried about than anything, is I've seen a lot of people get taken advantage of by a lot of simple trickery and things like that out of there. I mean, I heard about somebody who had some Bitcoins, and they thought they were transferring 3 Bitcoins to a reputable dealer so that they could get $7,500. They could go buy something for their kids or something like that. And what happened was they transferred it to somebody. That person stole them and cashed them in. And they have no recourse because there's no tracking. You can't call the police and say, hey, I had my Bitcoin stolen, because they'd be like, what's a Bitcoin? You know, it's not a tangible thing. It's not policed.
Right.
Well, we're pushing a couple hours.
We're at the halfway point on the show. I'm kidding, actually.
It's almost 11 o'clock here.
But just think, on the West Coast, it's only 9 o'clock. So
That's true. That's true. 3 hours behind us.
What time is it in Australia right now? Is our Australia friend still out there?
Yeah, she's a butler still here. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, thank you for watching, and thank you guys for hosting us. This has been fun. You know, we talked about a lot of different stuff. Anytime I can yammer on about whatever, and hopefully, you know, people learn stuff. And I hope people subscribe to your channel too. If you guys are watching right now and you're not subscribed to these guys, they have some amazing interviews. I mean, they get a crazy guy like me on every once in a while who yammers on about whatever. They had Dirt Patch Haven on. They've got a great channel. Living on a Dime was on here. They've got a great channel. And you guys have had some great Monday interviews. And, you know, I think you guys are getting close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys are watching right now and you guys know who you are and you're not subscribed, press the subscribe button. Otherwise...
Well, and the guest seat is open to anybody. Teasers, pleasers, B-Lady. Dana's been on here, but, you know, we'll have her back again. Any of you, Mountain Mama, she's a bottler.
Well, the whole idea behind this is for you folks that come and watch. If nobody can watch, it would make no sense to do it. So for you to come and watch and participate, and we've just tried to do something a little bit different that nobody else is doing. So we hope you enjoy it.
It's been fun too. I mean, I know we talked offline before the show, and even the other day when we talked, and you know, you guys are really committed to the space and bringing different guests and things like that out to, you know, introduce to different things. And like every time we do one of these, and I've done these with a lot of different channels and things like that, you get something different out of it. And the thing I like about you guys is that like the promo reel, like I've never had anybody put together a promo reel. My wife said,
Coco,
when you get home, there's a promo reel. You got to see it. These guys have a promo reel. It's like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, so it's just one of those things. Uh-oh. Somebody making sassy in the chat.
Yeah, Coco. Apparently there's no dress code. Mountain Mama, don't be afraid to make the vids. Trust me, I did not want to get in front of a camera. I'm not one to get in front of a camera. It took me quite a while for me to do it, for me to feel comfortable enough to even do a live stream. We did a live stream the other day of me attempting to make watermelon jelly. That was a fail, but we did it. You know, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean,
most of these are internet people. How often do you meet them? Okay, so in May we met quite a few of them, and in Virginia we're going to meet quite a few more in October. So
we may go north this weekend. Maybe.
That's news to me.
Up in Michigan. Michigan is having a meetup.
No, that's in August.
No, Michigan is having a meetup this coming weekend.
Okay, Pratts. Is your meetup this weekend or in August? I thought it said August 20th.
No.
Okay.
I do not believe so. I believe it's this coming weekend.
Okay. Go for it, Mama. I mean...
I'll have to go back and look.
Sullivan Family Homestead, Dana, she does videos. Rain.
Oh, August 26th.
I was closest.
Well, I guess we're not going up this weekend, Will. I thought maybe you could come down a little bit and.
Well, if you guys want to come up and visit, that's perfectly fine. Everybody in the chat, let's all come up and visit, and we can all have some fun.
Well, yeah, you got 160 acres. Yeah, you can spread them out.
Bring our tents and camp out. You know,
you could have an acre and set up their own little fort and things like that. The person who gets this is definitely going to have a trouble time. I mean,
we'll need an acre just for our dogs.
Yeah. There's plenty of room out there for that. That'd be
okay. Well, we have 5.
That's all right. We had 3 beagles at one point in time, so we're done We're a dog family.
Yeah, and these are like, you know, miniature ponies.
Perfect. We could have a little pony thing. See, that's the one thing in Wisconsin. In the fall, you have the apple orchard with the pumpkin patch, and then you have the little ponies. And,
right, exactly.
We could just get a bunch of people together, and we could put something like that together. I know there's none in our area or anything like that, but we thought about doing that at some point. So,
Mountain Mama, get with us anytime. Wrangle Dana and me. Dana is Sullivan Family Homestead. We'll show you the ropes. You know, we'll even be nice about it. Does sound scary.
Oh, you're gonna untie me?
What?
I haven't had those ropes out in a long time.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, Coco the Dog and Pony Show. That's right.
First live stream that has a safe word. Gotcha. Here we go.
Yeah, we're going to have the weekend Homestead Fair in Wisconsin.
We're at the 11 o'clock hour. We are now bringing in the kids bed. Oh, what was I going to say? Now I forgot.
Oh, B Lady said she's going to be in Wisconsin in August. She's going to see you?
What part of Wisconsin? It is a big state, but maybe. Where? There's a meetup in Wisconsin. There's a meetup in Wisconsin, really?
No, I think she has family there.
I heard she's hosting a meetup. We should all go there. And we'll all figure it out. I'll drive. Man, we'll all head down.
Mountain Mama, plan one. You know, sort of like Pratt's did. I think Pratt's the one who planned the one Michigan, but it doesn't have to be just your state. Surrounding, we're not in Michigan. We'll go up. It's a 3-hour drive for us.
Yeah, Mike, I checked that out, Mike, and it's about 3 hours for us to get there. So we're strongly considering making your meetup.
Yeah, I wish we would have a meetup in the Midwest. I've actually been tempted to actually host one and try to put something together. We've got the space. I mean, we did that video. I think I still have the. Hold on a second here. Party hold. That's one nice thing about being in Studio B is I still have all my props and stuff like that before. But we had this photo that we had shown before. And I've got this big area, 150 by 300 feet, that's out in the middle area. That's where we're actually going to build a house at one point in time. But there's nothing there right now. It's just grass, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it. But a couple of people have said, you know, if you have a big meetup, everybody could camp there. You could set up little tents and have the stuff and things like that. But I just hadn't really gotten around to figuring something out. But yeah, there's all the meetups tend to be on the East Coast. Like you guys had that really big one you guys were at. I think I got a couple messages from it of, hey, we were all out here and stuff like that. But
it was it last month? No, it was the month before that Brad and Krista had the one down close to their house.
Yeah.
That was great. That was just that was a 2-hour drive for us. And we took our granddaughters, and it was a great day meeting people that you just chat, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. And we had a good time.
Yeah, the thing in Tennessee was nice, but as far as a meetup, there was almost too many people.
You mean that evening for being so close?
Well, no, I mean if you wanted to just go in for like a meetup, there was too many people at that. So obviously, I mean, we had a great time. We enjoyed it very much, and we were going to go to Virginia.
Yeah, we're going to go to the one in Virginia in October.
So,
you guys had the Mother Earth News Fair and all that kind of stuff near you guys too, right?
No, there's nothing real close to us.
Pennsylvania's the closest, and that's in September.
Yeah, and that's clear on the other side of Pennsylvania too.
Yeah, that's a 6-hour drive for us if we would go to that. Yeah.
By the way, B-Lady, on the aerial photos, so you guys have seen these before I show them on the thing. Anybody can get these. These are all public domain. I actually didn't even take these aerial photos. These ones I got off of the internet.
I was going to say, can't you go to like Google Earth?
Yep, Google Earth gives you some. But the other one is like this one. So here's a little interesting factor. We need a little like tip of the week. So if you go into your county, let's say you live in Washburn County, right? I'm just going to say that's the county in your state. If you typed in Washburn and then the letters GIS, right? And what that is a global information system that counties keep on all the properties. So it has all the property tax information. It has all the information of where the public lands are, utilities, different runs. So if you ever wanted to find out the information about your property, let's say where the lot lines are, or where your closest utilities are, or public areas, public hunting, public camping grounds, anything you ever want to know, is this commercial, is it residential, whatever it's zoned, all that stuff, you can type in Washburn GIS, if that's your county, and it pops up a map. And then you just highlight in, just like Google Earth, the area where you are, and you can zoom in and you can look at your property. And most counties now legally keep aerial photos of all the pieces, because that's how they check to see if there's big changes. Like, they'll look at, you know, this aerial photo of my property, and all of a sudden next year, if there's a huge barn right here on the property, they can look and go, well, wait a minute, we looked at our database and there's no zoning there. And all of a sudden the assessor guy comes by and sticks a little card in your door, and you're like, how did they know that I built a barn? Well, they look on the maps. They keep a picture from every year. Like, I have one from 99, 2002, 2004, 2007, 2012, 2015, and I think there was one taken last year in 16. But you can pick whichever year you want, and it has a picture of like all the buildings and whatever else. You just zoom into your area and you can see where the lot lines are.
Well, you've just opened up a new market opportunity here.
What's that?
We can start a business where we camouflage your new buildings so that they can't be viewed from the air.
Actually, I've already tapped into a business that is actually, there's a lot of people out there who have businesses like where they're like, hey, we'll help hide your shipping container full of whatever you've got and stuff like that. That's actually a big thing out there. But yeah, if you go and look, like this map right here is a map of a whole bunch of the GISs, and I just took screenshots of the things, and I just kept gluing them together until I had my whole property. So I can look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see a ridge here, or oh, here's where the pine tree grove is, and oh, here's where the airport, and so on. And I can see where my neighbor lot lines are, so you can figure out if your neighbor's fence or if like his field is over on your property and stuff like that. It gets you close. It gets you within 3 feet of the property line. But yeah, you can check that out at any point in time. Whatever your county name is, GIS, and then you can get your aerial photos. So Bee Lady, just definitely go and do that. Well, our let's see here. Yeah, almost any county is, if they collect taxes in your county, they probably have maps of this stuff. For the question on that.
Well, and if anybody comes up with a question, thinks of one, you can always leave in the chat here, or send Will an email, or send us an email. We'll get it to him.
Yep.
So,
Will@theweekendhomestead.com, and I answer all my emails.
Heather, thank you for stopping. I see you're still with us in here too.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, Heather.
Yep. If we make it another 2 hours, everybody gets a free T-shirt. Just saying.
Last time I had a free T-shirt, I traded it for tickets.
Tickets to what?
The conference in October, Homesteaders Conference.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I got the T-shirt, and all of a sudden somebody says, "I'll trade you 2 tickets for the T-shirt."
I think now that it's up in Wisconsin, we're gonna. I talked to him. I said, "Hey, what if we figured out a get together?" Because I mean, with us being an hour apart from each other, maybe I have the space and they have the, you know, the different things or whatever, and we can kind of put something together. Now they have a whole bunch of space, so you know it could work out. We're gonna have for the wedding coming up in August. I think there's like 120 people on the guest list or something like that for this outdoor wedding. So we'll see how we'll support that many people if it'll work out. If it does, then maybe we will consider doing something. It's a great place to be in the fall, I'll tell you that. So
you're not quite close enough to shoot fireworks at each other, but
no, well, I could figure that out. Actually, it's funny, we were talking about that. A barbecue. Now you just open up another can of worms. There's a can opener going there. The barbecue, people talk about, you know, well, what do you bring to a barbecue and everything like that? And I'm like, well, I bring fireworks. So like people dish to pass, like, oh, here's my baked beans, or here's my pasta salad, or here's my, you know, Ritz crackers or whatever it is. I'm like, well, here's a whole pile of fireworks.
Have fun.
Here's my 3-inch shell.
My lighter. Yeah.
Here's my lighter and some fireworks. But I'll do that. I'll put together a little mini show. It's called, I do them on a piece of plywood, a 4x8 piece of plywood, and I'll mount a whole bunch of fireworks on it. It just slides right in the back of the truck, and then show up to a barbecue or whatever it is, set it out there. I've got a little control that I can fire it all remotely. I just press the button and away it goes.
Children, don't do this at home.
I am a licensed professional.
And that's scary.
Don't give a license to anybody these days, you know? You can print anything off a computer.
I had a Cracker Jack box. I opened it up, and I
exactly
before that, but now I am. So awesome.
Yeah, that's what I used to say. You know, they'll put anything in a Cracker Jack box.
Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Oh, it was great. Thank you for accepting.
Yeah.
Had a great time, and if anybody's got any more questions, now's your chance.
Yep.
Mountain Mama, Dana and I are going to get with you. Message one of us or both of us. We're both on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook. If you find me, it's Two Family Homestead. Dana has a group also on Facebook, Sullivan Family Homestead. We have our emails. We're twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Let us know. We'll help walk you into the green light.
Now everybody is talking in the chat about getting the free T-shirt.
Yeah.
2 hours. So what is that? That's midnight my time. I actually could probably make that work. My first meeting tomorrow is at like 7:30. So I guess if everybody, but nobody can leave to go to the bathroom. We've all got to hold it the entire time. So
they want to know how much you were paid to be on.
How much was I paid to be on?
Yeah.
Actually, my bill will be in the mail. So that's
we're cheap. So we're the poor folks in this group.
Oh, it's I'll tell you though, the show that you guys put together is great. Like I said, if you're in the chat right now, or if you're watching, one of the people who are watching, do 2 favors for me. One, press the thumbs up button because it helps the channel, overall just gain viewership. And then the second item is if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, because you get crazy people like me on a Monday night, and there's nothing on TV to watch, so you can hop on and watch something like this and have a good time. And it's just people, like-minded people talking about fun stuff, and that's the whole reason to subscribe. So make sure you do that. Hit the subscribe button right now. You know who you are. You're watching. I know you're watching. But
yes, Dana, Sullivan Family Homestead, wants to know if you have enough T-shirts for that.
How many people are in the chat right now?
31.
I probably have enough T-shirts for that. I have these white Hanes T-shirts and a big black Sharpie marker, and I'll just write.
There you go. That's all you need.
I'll sign the back of it with a little whatever, and send them out to everybody. Unfortunately, I only have one size, which is small, so hopefully it works. But I didn't
even know the Holler Homestead was in here. They were so quiet. Oh, they're doing their bookkeeping.
Mountain Mama Will's channel is The Weekend Homestead.
So yeah, everybody
they're all here for the count. They want to take you up on your offer.
Imagine the watch time that goes with that. For hours. Wow. What would we talk about? Like, we'd begin in the last hour, like, okay, let's start telling knock-knock jokes. Ready? Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Oh, what?
Boo. The only farm joke I know.
See? Quiet. Didn't even know you were here for the whole 2 hours. Gosh, Lord. You ladies not leaving. A Sullivan family, I don't know about you, but small T-shirt would fit my granddaughter.
I wonder if I could do that. So I wonder how would you mail those out? I'm thinking of a promo that I might do on one of these Thursday night shows. So by the way, if you guys haven't seen our Thursday night shows, when we drive up to the homestead, occasionally what we'll do is I'll set up the camera in the car, and then it's the only time Mrs. and I actually get in a space. The boys are usually sleeping in the back seat. So we'll do a live stream actually as we're driving, and I'll tour around and like, hey, by the way, that's the birthplace of Bob Dylan. Or, hey, by the way, that's downtown or whatever, and this is so on and so forth. And I kind of do a tour, and we talk about our channel, and it's kind of a fun way to pass the time while we're in the car. So if you happen to be around on Thursdays,
yeah, we've watched a few of them when they've been in the car.
Yeah,
the road show. So, what time are my shows? On Thursdays, I do a tech talk with Brad at the Big Family Homestead at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. Or then right after that, usually at like 5 minutes after, because I have to get my stuff together, I'll fire up a live show on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and we talk about stuff at the property. Like last time, we talked about this map that I have and all the different little projects we have on the property and things like that. And I get a lot of great feedback from the viewers and stuff like that. So I definitely do that on Thursdays. And then if you're a subscriber of ours, I am a big fan of the random live stream. Like if Cameron and I are going fishing and I have cell phone service, I'll prop the phone up, press the button, turn it on, and whoever's in the chat room, we all go fishing together. Or we all go to the fair together or whatever it is. Like the state fair, I'm definitely doing a live stream from the state fair and giving you guys a little tour of that. That might be a whole day-long tour.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Well, and go ahead and tell everybody else that's in here now about the other video you're creating or have created or started to create as a day in the life of a pyro. Or
yeah, I actually, the only part that I didn't capture.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie on the Lifetime channel.
So one of the things I did get clearance on is I shot some video this weekend. So this weekend I shot pyro for the X Games. If you guys know what that is, a skateboard and dirt bike, bicycle. By the way, that thing, we can get a whole topic of that. That stuff is crazy. Watching these guys jump 50 feet in the air on a skateboard, you know, it's just wow. But so I did the pyro for that, and then that night I did Kiss. So what I did was I did a day in the life of, and basically kind of a chronological, almost, if you know the guy Casey Neistat, he does those kind of videos where he's like, I'm going to go on a trip, and he takes little snippets and puts them all together into a show. I just finished shooting it this last weekend on Sunday afternoon, so I'm going to be putting that together hopefully in the next week or two and posting that. So normally our stuff is about the homestead and outdoor stuff and hunting and fishing and spending time with the family, but I am making one special episode to kind of show people what it's like to be a pyro, like where I go and here's how I get my badge and here's how I check in and this is what it looks like from the firing pit at the X Games, or this is what it looks like backstage at Kiss and how it all goes together and things like that. So I finished shooting that. Now I just have to do some editing on it, and hopefully I'll have that up here in the next week or two.
Okay. And I know some of the people are talking about that there's some buffering and so forth. The only thing I can tell you is that we have had a solid green light from YouTube the entire time. We're not experiencing any issues here.
Yeah, we paid off the monkeys before we started.
But the monkeys have been active at YouTube.
Oh wow, they sure were.
Was it last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, last night we not only didn't have any subscribers, we weren't subscribed to anybody. So. And
he saw the monkey. He finally. I said, "Yeah, that's YouTube monkeys they talk about."
Yeah, it was weird. Like, there's even channels. I mean, one of the channels reached out to me that I kind of work with and help them on some technical stuff. And they're like, something's wrong with my channel. Normally we have, 4,000 views a day or whatever it is over their videos, and they have a pretty big channel. And they're like, yeah, we had 15 views yesterday. Did my stuff get deleted or what happened or whatever? And even on our channel, I had 7 views total for the day. And I mean, we're usually at least 1,000 or 2 a day. So, it's one of those things where something was wrong with YouTube. And that's the challenging part about this is we're bringing this show to you guys, and, there's 30-some people watching or whatever. And, like, we're bringing this to you on a technology that we don't own. We're just using it for free to do these shows. So we're at the mercy of that. So, there could have been possibly 500 people in the chat tonight, or there could be nobody because if the technology didn't work.
Exactly.
Go out, we're at the mercy of that. And that goes back to any of these, Instagram, Facebook, all those. So I recommend, besides making the internet connection, make the personal connection. That's why I give out my email address, will@theweekendhomestead.com. Send me an email. I'll respond because you're making that connection with people in a different way. So if one thing goes down, you still have access to it. Because what would you do if YouTube went away today? Everybody would have to find something different.
God, they'd have to have a life.
Yeah. Where would I be able to make silly jokes and keep people on the air for 2 hours?
There you go.
I tried it in my neighborhood. I was up at the end of my driveway here in the city, and the neighbors were all looking at me like, what is wrong with that guy?
Like, you didn't have your big red nose on or anything? Those big black shoes?
Yeah, they're like, there's lenses in your glasses. And I'm like, well, that's the funny part about it. That's why when I rub my eye, it looks like I'm, and they're like, I don't get it. So.
B-Lady wants to know if you ever heard of peer-to-peer net in beta.
No, I have not. I know what a peer-to-peer network is, which is connecting with people directly. So, like, I would have the Weekend Homestead, and everybody could log into me via peer-to-peer network. But I don't know if there's anything. I haven't heard of that one before. Let me write that down. Hold on. I'll add it to one of our shows coming up and see, and I'll do a little research on it. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. Phone to phone, it's out there now. Like making a phone call, like I could call somebody and talk to them. That is cool. Hello. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Now, I don't know what phone to phone is. I know that like WhatsApp and things like that, you can have broadcast lists where you send something and it goes out to a whole bunch of people, but it's not the community like you can build on YouTube where, you know, people are sending us. Think of the technology that we have here. You and I the three of us are talking via a video chat that then be broadcast to a server so people in Australia and other parts of the world can see it. And they can send messages back to us that then I can read that says, Will, you got something on your shirt? And then I look at my shirt and it happens almost instantaneously. It's like, like I can show you my leg right here on the internet again.
He's doing that just for you, B-Lady, and Coco. It was Coco.
And the people in Australia are like, that guy needs to get a tan. And they can see how amazing that technology is.
Yeah, and the ones that are just coming in late going, what's going on? What kind of chat did I walk in on?
The show is this.
Well, and we've tried to just enhance it a little bit on our end by doing something a little different that other channels are not. The chat's embedded. The chat's doesn't look like the plain chat anymore.
It's awesome. Like I'll be honest with you, I watched a couple of your live streams, and that's when I changed my show. And I looked at it and went, I got to learn a little bit more about how all this software works. And I know I sent you an email or we talked a little bit online and stuff like that. And then now, I hate to say it, but you guys inspired me to, you know, I'm copying you. I don't know how to say it any other way, but I looked at it and went, well, that's really cool. I should figure out a way to do that, and stepped up my game. So I thank you for inspiring me to do that.
You are more than welcome, and I have absolutely no problem helping anybody that asks for help, or you know, and I certainly appreciate you saying, "Well, gosh, I saw that there, and so I enhanced it," we just appreciate the acknowledgement.
Yeah, no, you guys do a great job, and I honestly wish there's some content or some channels out there that have some great content, but the delivery of the content is so challenging that it detracts from the message that they're trying to give. And by just doing a couple things or researching a couple things in your channel, and that's why I try to help people out, like in that small homestead group that we're all part of, or even some of the YouTube groups and stuff like that. The reason why I do those things is because I think people have great messages, and if there's ways that we can tweak it so that, you know, if you change your tags just a little bit, a couple more people will get your message, whatever it is. I mean, telling one person, and if it makes a difference in their lives, that's awesome. If you can figure out a way to broadcast your message to many, many people and it changes people's lives, that's what this whole thing is all about. So by helping tweak the message or the way it's being delivered, and you get a better result because of it, everybody wins.
I have a whole nother topic here I'd love to go into, but I don't think we want to do that.
Coco says they need you to lay your hands on their laptop.
Is that to me? I'm laying hands on somebody's laptop? Sorry.
Mrs. Soap Peddler, we have our own troll. We don't need any others.
Well, I think one of the reasons is we tried to run a very clean show, and by embedding the chat within the show, if a troll does come in here and make an ass of themselves, it's all recorded. It's there.
Well, there's one other thing to it also, which is I like the idea of embedding the chat because, you know what, we're having fun interacting with folks in the chat, and we're reading things like B-Lady just said, hey, Will, can you have my tags and email me? You know what? It's one of those things where
he like, just read it.
Sorry.
Try to keep a serious face when you read the chat, right?
Hello. No, so, but imagine if we were having this conversation, the three of us, and people were watching this conversation, but they couldn't see that somebody just said something that I have really hairy legs, or that my legs and stuff like that. So it's like breaking the what do they call it in the thing? Breaking the third wall in TV, where like the audience gets involved in participation. Well, they're participating right now But let's say you couldn't spend the last 3 hours with us on the internet chatting or whatever, that you would have to come back another time to watch it. Now they can experience with it, which is just genius, because now you get to be part of it even if you don't get to see it live.
Well, yeah, it's invaluable for replaying. It's invaluable for that, because like you can just put it all together. It just makes the replayer to view the video later complete.
Yep, definitely. I see if there was
noises.
So,
how do we keep the trolls out? I think that's it right there. You know, you're right on the screen, and then there's moderators, the folks with the blue wrenches.
The wrenches, yeah. Yeah, just ask Dana. She learned how to use her blue wrench real well the other day, didn't you, Dana?
It was funny. I was a wrench on another channel helping them out with theirs, and we figured out that wrenches cannot park or timeout or even boot other wrenches. Because I was joking with everybody that, yeah, now that I have a wrench, I'm going to kick everybody out of chat, you know, and I was going through, and unfortunately wrenches can't kick wrenches out. So that's kind of funny. But I found out that the crown can kick wrenches out. So, you know, if something goes a little crazy or whatever, the crown will trump the wrench. So
right.
you put your wrenches on timeout, which is kind of fun to do sometimes.
Thank you, Christian. I got blasted on that on one of the Facebook groups I'm on of the collab, and we haven't done one since then.
No, we haven't.
But even after we did the time frame for the collab was going to be from a certain time to a certain time, after people started viewing it on our playlist, they wanted to add a recipe. Feel free. You know, we're not doing any more videos where we're saying, well, so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing that. But they did a video and they let us know that the video was uploaded and we added it to the playlist. We have no problem with doing that. And there's a lot of good recipes out there. So, and we had one lady that does not do videos. We said, you know what? Take a picture of the food as you do it and write down the steps. Daryl made a slideshow and he uploaded the slideshow for her. So, there's always ways around it.
Is that the dinner collaboration that we
Yes, home-style dinner, yes.
Yeah, we were. I was traveling at the time, and we had all that stuff going for Pyro. So
that's no problem.
Yeah, there was one, and there was one collaboration I was thinking about starting, which was somebody makes the appetizer, somebody makes the main course, somebody makes one side, somebody makes a side, somebody makes a dessert, and so on and so forth. And you do a meal that way. Is that kind of how that collaboration worked, or did you guys do something different with that?
No, what we did, Will, and I don't know what exactly prompted it, but I did a search for the term home-style dinner. Did a Google search, and nothing came up. Nothing. Variations, you know, like a restaurant or things, but the actual term home-style dinner returned nothing. So I thought, well, let's have YouTubers that create their version of a home-style dinner. And that's what the whole thing was. And that's what we promoted, was that you just, whatever you feel is a home-style dinner. One of the people said their version of a home-style dinner was what? Burger King?
Yeah. And is he the one that took the video of him going through the line?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I mean, he doesn't cook.
He's single, doesn't cook, and that's what he did.
So his version of a home-style dinner is a trip through Burger King.
And he did the photo line of all the stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was hysterical. You know, if that's what you say your home-style dinner is, and that's cool.
Yeah. But we ran that promotion for a month. Just over a month. And I promoted as heavy as I could. I made videos every week, and I had some live streams on about it, tried to promote it and talk it up. And we just got blasted.
Yeah, there was one person in particular on that one Facebook group that we're all on. One person blasted me. Fine, you know.
We are on.
We are on. With you, yeah.
Gotcha.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. one with the secret
But
handshake.
you know what? If that's if that's the way you feel, fine. You know, it's not gonna, you know, you do what you want.
Then the rules weren't plain enough, and then it got to the point of being ridiculous. We ran it out for the entire month. It's not like we were giving away big prizes or anything. We weren't. I mean, the whole idea was to get some community. The whole idea was to help us build our channel. We wanted to get a little recognition and get our channel built a little bit. And that's what
guest.
Pardon?
We have a guest for the show. You guys okay with that?
Well, sure.
A little guest.
In Studio B. Look who came to visit.
Oh, ho, a 5-year-old.
Aha! Well, hello.
You say hi to our friends? So they're actually, I explain this for a second.
Yes.
Pretty hold for everybody in the chat. So we're down here, but see, they're there. So I have
yes,
right
that one up there. Okay, there we go.
There we go. See the little troll guy? This is Cameron. He's my little buddy. They just got home from the cabin. So, how was your trip? Did you have fun? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, up really loud though. Use your outside voice. It's okay. Mom.
Um,
What did you do this weekend?
Did you go fishing?
No fishing.
It's like
What landed on your head?
Kaylee got real quiet when she knew the camera was on her.
The funny thing is like normally it's just like. Rah, 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 rah. What landed on your head? Can you tell everybody at least that?
A dragonfly landed on my head.
Oh,
It's like cruising around and like what? And Mom got a picture of it, so it'll be on Instagram, right?
oh, that would be cool.
My hat.
Right there on your head. Did it scare you?
No, it didn't.
Good.
I was right.
Do you like bugs?
Oh yeah, you're big bugs. Like
Good.
somebody asks you, what's your favorite food?
Almost anything.
Almost anything. What do you like to eat?
That's a hard question.
Okay, here's a different question. What did Mom make you this weekend? What did you eat on your ice cream that Mom made?
Magic shell.
Ooh, I like magic shell. I like the butterscotch kind. Do you like chocolate?
What kind did we make? By the way, the missus is right over there.
I could hear her whispering to him.
And she gave me the, you don't put me in the camera right now. She's in her pajamas. So. You made the what? Use your outside voice because I don't understand what you're talking. What you talking about, Willis? One more time. Really loud. So the people in Australia can hear you, right?
No,
Dolce de leche? De leche. De leche?
Milk.
Milk what? We made milk?
Sweet milk.
sweet
What kind
milk.
Sweet milk that you caramelize.
You caramelize sweet. What do you do with that?
You use it as caramel.
Is that what you use for the magic shell? Wow. Slow on the upkeep. A lot of problems here. Through all the hair gel, I guess. Yeah, and Cameron has shorts on too, by the way, if you guys are wondering. So, see, shorts.
B Lady says, hi, Mrs. Will. 30 minutes to shirts.
30 minutes. Yeah, we said if we stayed on till midnight, we would be giving away shirts. And what we're going to do for the free giveaway shirts is we've got all those Hanes, those small white ones. I'm just going to take a marker and write the Weekend Homestead left-handed on there, and then I'll sign it.
Oh, left-handed now. I bet you he's a right-handed person. Yeah.
I got a store we'll put online with that. So.
Well, Grizz is having the last of his salmon.
Oh,
I still think you need to, freeze one of them and send it to me. I love salmon. Fresh salmon? Oh, yeah.
Did he catch them or fish or what?
Yeah, I don't know. He could have hit it with his truck. I'm not sure. Probably used one of his kitties as bait.
All right. Are you all done, buddy? Time for bed?
Yeah. Ooh. Night, Cameron.
Say goodnight for everybody.
Good night,
Bye.
Cameron. Good night.
Love you. Good night. Bye. See ya. We'll be done in like an hour or two.
Nothing long.
All right. Now that she's gone. I'm kidding.
Night, Barefoot. Ralph, thank you for stopping. I hope we didn't bore you.
Here's my question. Is there anybody who's been on since the beginning? What was the first thing that we talked about when the started?
Somebody else, right? I've been here.
Anybody?
The first thing that we talked about, scroll backwards, group. Scroll backwards real fast.
It cuts it off. You only get so many chat lines. I think it's 1,000 lines, and then once you pass 1,000, it starts dumping them off.
Oh, really? See, I never looked. Well, they can always wait until it comes back as an actual video and then check it, because remember, our chat stays with it.
Right. I was just trying to figure out if anybody has been here the whole time.
B-Lady was.
E-Lady was.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's the endurance award right there, listening to us hammer.
Coco might have been here the whole time.
That's true. Kilts, that's right. We talked about it because I showed my legs right in the beginning of the video, and my favorite food is ice cream.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Well, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for hosting. This has been fun.
They're going to talk about your legs from here on in.
Yeah, last nice guy said he was 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
Oh, Tawana Lynn's in here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been here.
Well, I guess I missed her.
And Dana and I still have to talk Mountain Mama into doing videos.
So, okay.
Ooh, chocolate and cherry dump cake. That sounds interesting, Nancy.
Well, again, I just want to thank everybody that's in the room here. We appreciate you. And next week, again, something a little different.
Very different, yeah, from what we've done.
So our guest next week will be Cooking with Doug. Cooking with Doug. And he does a lot of reviews on various kitchen gadgets. He has quite a few Facebook groups. I met him when we purchased our air fryer. I joined his air fryer group on Facebook. And he has a YouTube channel where he does the cooking and tries out some of these things that he has. So he's an awesome chef, awesome home cook. Clash of the Tartans. So next week, something a little different. Get your notebooks out, and he'll maybe have a few recipes for you. So, Pat, I think for us it's a record time. We've done when we had Living on a Diamond last week. That was last week. Yeah, that was 2 hours. It was 2 hours. So yeah, this is a record for us. Yeah, this was Will's goal. Yeah, set a new record.
If we make it 15 minutes, it would be 3 hours. But I don't know what we would talk about for 15 minutes. That's the thing. Kind of, we're getting to the end. Like, we're getting to the end of the internet. We have to turn back and start all over again. Coco says when Brad and Will meet, their plaids will clash. Coco, we stopped at a Rural King this afternoon, and going through the men's section, they had shirts on sale and they were plaid. And I turned around to Daryl and I picked one up and I pointed to him and I said, "This is Brad's section right here," because they always tease him about his plaid shirt and how he matches the couch. They had some neat plaid shirts there, though. In the fall, it'll be red hoodie sweatshirt. You'll see, like, if you watch all of our videos from the fall, my wife said too. She's like, "Do you own anything else other than a red hoodie sweatshirt?" So I have red hoodie sweatshirts on or plaid all the time. Red plaid shirts, wool shirts, all that kind of stuff. Awesome. I still don't know how everybody got on this thing about kilts. I know that. So my first name and last name, it's not any secret because I'm on online or anything like that, but William Wallace is my name, and everybody does the Braveheart, connection because the guy in Braveheart was William Wallace, who was actually a real person and everything else. And I think that's how the whole kilt thing started, but I can't remember. But at some point in time, maybe we'll have a meetup, and I'll have a kilt on, and people will know me as, there's William Wallace. So I think that's how it started, but somebody can remind me in the chat on how we got onto the idea of me wearing a plaid. Okay, well, you ready? Say goodnight to everybody? Yeah, it's been a nice night. Thank you, Will. Appreciate it so much. We had a great time. I think everything
you know, was said. It was great. Everybody enjoyed it. Yeah, head over to Will's channel if you haven't already been there.
Well, and if you're not subscribed here, do that on your way out. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks
And
for
he's
having me.
and he's also on Facebook.
Okay, folks. Good night.
See you.